invisible boom mic! Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 13th of July, 2025. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
Like this one right in front of my face. There's two of them in this room, even.
And Robert Kemp.
Everyone have a good flying ant day.
It was a couple of days ago, was it?
Yeah, it was definitely this week. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can tell with your ants directly outside your front door.
Oh, are they back?
I haven't seen them much, but they were earlier in the year, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they got powdered to all hell. Sorry, ants.
That day is definitely a weird day. I'm not sure if they reach my, fourth floor or whatever it is, because I saw them everywhere outside on that day, but I didn't have a problem with them coming in, coming in through the window or anything.
What is the maximum altitude of an ant with wings?
Yeah, they seem quite low to the ground.
Enough to inhale, I suppose. Potential inhalation risk.
Yeah, definitely. They were thick enough that you were definitely walking into them. I definitely felt them a few times just walking along.
Oi, mate, I'm walking here.
Yeah, I'm walking here. Yeah.
They were flying, presumably.
No, presumably they were flying. They're all over the ground, though. That's the thing, isn't it, with them? They're not always flying. I remember that one day visiting Felixstowe, when we were teenagers, and it was just flying ant day. Do you remember that? It was just foam full of flying ants.
I think that was
so weird.
That fountain foamed up occasionally.
That number of ants probably wasn't all from just that one day, though. That was probably a week's worth of...
Do you think?
Yeah, because I've definitely seen it at other times where it wasn't. It was filled with insects, but not flying ants.
Yeah,
it was just filled with
gunk.
Yeah, flies and
that fountain
wasps.
was gross.
It's like an insect attracting fountain or something on the seafront in Felixstowe.
It's more effective than a weird glowing light.
That was weird.
Maybe it's just relatively speaking, fresh water.
Maybe, yeah. But then where does the foam come from?
From all the stuff that's not fresh.
Or do you reckon people just walked by with just casually handling fairy liquid? Which is
That must have been a birthday or something that we were in Felixstowe. I'm sure we went to the arcades and stuff and played DDR.
Well, why else would you go there?
Yeah, exactly. I seem to remember playing Initial D and score, and then having it recorded on a card, my save progress or something. But I'd only managed to enter my first initial, which is of course D. So
nice.
That was my card.
The Initial D. My Initial D card.
Indeed.
I used to like those. I mean, there was some cool games that had the save feature. Ghost Squad had a fairly elaborate save game system.
I mean, as we've already talked about on the podcast, that card is still in my wallet. I could literally pull that out right now.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think I've got
You've been carrying it around for how long?
It's just a space filler. It's like the same reason I have all these extra keys on my keyring. So otherwise I'd have one key on that keyring, which would be more easy to lose.
That's just a disappointment.
Shouldn't you get a bigger actual key ring then, rather than have to have extra keys to pad out your
basically
keys?
the same thing.
Yeah.
I've just got a different kind of a lump of metal attached to my keyring.
Yeah.
It could be more decorative than a key, though. Maybe it should be a key
have to
blade.
Search through your keys for the one key.
Well, I know what the one key I use actually feels like, though, so I can do it without even having to look at them.
Look, yeah, it's true.
And in the darkness binds them.
And also, it's a disguise of, which key is the key that matters.
Yeah, which key is it? Security through obscurity. That'll do.
Yeah, I see. It slows them down by at least potentially 50% key time.
Actually, technically, I guess there is one other key on there that I still have the other end of that I could theoretically be using it for.
One of my keys that is shaped like a key is actually a bottle opener. Convenient.
Ah, yes, those are quite
Obviously,
nice.
you can have a bottle opener on there, but it's nice that it looks like a key otherwise.
Man, I had the bottle opener from Southampton's The Cube for a long, long time.
Oh, the Cube. That was the campus nightclub, right?
It was,
the student union building. Yeah.
The Cube. Yeah, at one point they had a branded bottle opener key ring, and I had that for a long time. I should probably get one on my keys. They are quite useful periodically to just be able to pop something open.
Southampton had a good setup if you wanted to not study and party all the time.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
A lot of good, bars and clubs and stuff, or at least for students.
I wonder if that's still true.
Yeah, I guess that stuff's still there. Yeah, hard to know.
Mm. Yeah, because I had the campus bar, and then there was a pub pretty much on the grounds, but it wasn't a pub. It wasn't I think that was independent from the rest of the stuff. So it was just straight on the campus. There was a couple of good places, but then the town was pretty good for that stuff anyway.
Hmm. And the long trek in between.
Get me some 50p snake bite, yo.
Exactly. Oh, Chestercle's horrible. I'm assuming that Chester's is still going.
I think it is still there, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Not that I've wandered into Portswood last time I was in Southampton.
No, I don't think so. That would just be nostalgia anyway.
You've got to see how many pairs of shoes you can lose, I suppose. It's just, oh, there goes another one.
Did you lose a lot of pairs of shoes?
I mean, no, but I can see it being possible.
Oh, in Chester's, for sure. Yeah. No, and I think that it is a bit of a shoe graveyard. Yeah, I did have to have a special pair of Chester shoes because it was so
You don't want to ruin them.
No.
You got to know what you're getting into. Except you don't know what you're getting into. That's kind of the point.
You really don't, yeah.
How is everyone? Everyone been enjoying their Tendlebone?
What was that again? Tendlebone?
I mean, it was Wimbledon, but
that's right.
It had gone through so many passes of contortion.
I actually forgot it's Wimbledon. Okay,
it was I
forgot that it was still happening. Tendlebone, but
men's final is today, the day of recording.
Oh, it's today, is it?
It'll be on right now. In fact, but,
okay, fine. I heard about what happened at the women's final.
Boy, what an upset!
Yeah.
No spoilers, but that's
I mean, that is just literally the worst spoiler.
Well, I mean, you don't really... Oh, okay. But you don't know which way.
If it's an upset, that implies which way.
Well, no. It's more the manner, not the which player.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you have spoiled it then.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You've added too many caveats to that initial phrase.
Fine. I suppose you're right. But, what a thing. What a disappointment if you had tickets.
Right. Can we say, I don't know I don't even know the names of the women, so I can't spoil who actually did it, but one of them went to pieces, right? And it got crushed. Right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So full spoiler territory now. Yeah, it was 6060 to I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Sviatek. Sviatek.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. But yeah, that's not much of a match to watch, I suppose, if you're tickets, I guess. But I was just thinking that it's normal people, I don't know what percentage, but normal people, it would perfectly understandable that you might go to pieces under that kind of pressure, right? It's perfectly normal. But then, are you sort of selecting so that the only people who end up in that position are total weirdos that don't? Do you know what I mean?
Right, but that's sport, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
That's anything.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that you have actual humans who can play top flight tennis, or whatever. You don't have to be a total robot.
I mean, I'll give tennis players some credit. They probably do go through media training of some description because they're all forced to do interviews when they win a game and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And the runner-up is forced to do an interview. Yeah, that was a whole thing, right? Wasn't it with Raducanu? Because she didn't want to do interviews, so just bailed out of them or something. And it's no, you're not allowed to do that.
Right, yeah.
It was a whole thing. But they do just speak like human beings. It's not we've got to focus on what we do well and do that next game. There is actually a bit of conversation there.
Right. Well, you mean tennis players compared to other sports?
Yeah, absolutely. Like especially football, but but even other.
I think that's true. I think most footballers are speaking too normally, where they don't actually have anything to say, and therefore they just don't say anything.
Well, maybe that's the thing. It's like, maybe they don't have the ability, so they just fall back on the media training. Like, I hope it's that way round, because then that does leave them some amount of humanity, and they just go, I don't really know what to do here. I'm going to say the line. But if it is like, they've been roboticized to just say it's hard to play football without the ball or whatever.
I don't even mean robot in terms of how they give interviews or anything. I just mean in terms of like just being sort of impervious to the
I know
the pressure.
In some ways it's I don't know. Tennis to me has almost been more personality driven than anything else, right? You see it on the court. You see certain players going nuts. You see
like McEnroe or whatever.
Well, yeah, and they sort of.
Day.
Well, McEnroe was a bit more because he literally shouted at people, but most of them are like you can. They talk to themselves and do all kinds of weird stuff.
It's true.
Well, the other classic problem, which I feel like is a UK problem, but maybe that's just from our perspective that it seems like it. But like in a lot of the sports tournament things that are specific to this country, we just automatically underdog cheer, which immediately puts a whole kind of different pressure on both sides of that equation.
100%.
Like the same with snooker, even. It's just like in those, when they're doing the Crucible or whatever, it's like, if there's an underdog involved,
I mean,
people will still cheer all those.
I don't understand it, but I'm with it. I'm with that mindset completely. Like
you get the underdog gets a whole bunch of extra pressure because people want them to do well, and the person who's not the underdog gets a bunch of pressure to fight back against the people cheering for the underdog.
Exactly.
So no one wins in that equation, really.
Maybe.
Apart from the crowd.
Maybe it works in. Yeah, I mean, it probably doesn't have much effect on like F1 drivers because they can't hear anything. But
sure.
But I'm definitely in that camp. It's like Max Verstappen. There's no question he's one hell of a driver, but also fuck that guy.
Well, but he's also an asshole.
That's helped by that a little bit.
I still love my favourite stupid. It's really a mean thing, horrible thing to do. But when Andy Murray was first doing well at Wimbledon, sometimes someone in the crowd would shout, "Come on, Tim!"
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny. I mean, it's awful, but
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that.
So good.
I didn't see or hear any of that happen during the was it the men's doubles, because that was our winners basically.
Right.
Oh no! Did they actually win? No, they might have lost. Okay. Oh, I can't remember. I can't even remember now. They were in the final. I can't remember which way it went now.
Okay.
They might have lost. Tendlebone.
That's it. Not Tendlebone. Sorry, gotta get it right.
I struggled. I don't know if iPlayer ran into a problem with that, but like it's one of the few things the BBC tend to do a pretty good. Pretty good job with their 4K content.
Yeah,
but there were plenty of times where the live feed just didn't have that option this year. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially later in the tournament, where it's just like, okay, they're on centre court, like this should have the 4K feed, but iPlayer is just not presenting me the option for that.
Oh. That's weird.
I think only like number one and centre have the 4K cameras and
equipment.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. It kind of fell apart a little bit this year. I do still think it's weird, the whole. I know why they're doing it, but the fact that that there's no line judges anymore, that the whole thing is automated.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like Hawkeye is still there, and it's like the whole thing is presumably Hawkeye powered, right, to run the thing. But and you can see it do, like when it's close to the line, they'll automatically put up the Hawkeye view on a screen on the court. But I don't know. There's something missing when you're like slightly fearing for the line judges as a 120 mile per hour serve comes close to their face.
Right. Yeah.
And also the various ways people used to shout fault and out.
Well,
Like,
it's not like they don't have that. It's like they've
No, but
recorded
it's-
a bunch of different voices, which
Yeah,
is
there's
almost
like
kind of
two-
weird because it's like they use too many at once. It's
Yeah,
like there's
there's-
only meant to be 6.
oh, well, 6 different voices, is there? Or-
Well, no, I mean there should only be if it
I
was
see.
still real people.
Right. But what they actually do is they use one voice, and it's usually the same
They don't use
voice.
the same voice on everyone.
No, not in for a match. Is there's one voice.
I'm pretty sure I've heard more than one in a single match.
Oh, I didn't notice that. There was always one, for me, there was always one voice in a match. And not only that, there weren't variants of the various phrases. So if it was out, it said out in the same way every time.
No, I've
If it was-
definitely heard it will be all kinds of different.
No, I don't know. I really didn't. It like fault always sounded the same. Out always sounded the same to me. Until the umpire had to step in and say things like "let" still. I don't know. I think it's weird for it to be fully automated. I don't know, but it makes sense because it's one of those sports where it absolutely can be and it works.
Well, I mean, why is let not automated? That should be really easy to detect.
I mean, it always used to. That was one of the first
I mean,
things to be
beeps,
automated.
obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, why do you then need to have the umpire see that it goes into the court on that? Because that's, like, I guess, does Hawkeye
I think
doesn't work
it's
in,
'cause
like, the middle of the court because it's only looking at the lines?
No, I think it does detect it, but the umpire has to say like which service it is afterwards, so it's more natural for them
that
to
also
say
wouldn't-
let for service.
That could still be automated.
It could
There's
still
no
be automated.
reason for that not to be automated.
Yeah, it could still be.
You're going to automate it, kick the umpires out as well. Get rid of all of
I just want to. They should replace the out sound of just someone going "oh." So every time it goes out, it's like "oh."
Now, what you're saying is actually they should just replace the crowd as well. get literally all the people out of that stadium apart the players. Everything is automated.
Robot tennis. Let's do it. You seen that
I mean, it'd be
footage?
good if you could get the same setup for your own game against your friend or whatever. So it's all.
Oh, well, yeah, that'd be nice. Have you seen the footage of like Chinese robot football, where it's like they're
No. Well, what kind of robot? Like the
bipedal?
sort of- Oh, wow.
Like it's
they tried to-
terrible,
they-
but but it's pretty funny because they just fall over. If they fall over in a certain way, then they don't get back up, and then like 2 guys with a stretcher come out and rescue the
Oh,
thing. So,
wow.
so basically, within a few minutes, the number of players on the pitch dwindles. So it's like, oh no, they've lost their goalkeeper.
Is it full size or is it?
No.
five-a-side?
It's like 5-a-side.
I mean,
Right.
they did better when they did that, when they did the marathon with the robots, where it's just like, have all
yeah.
the different versions from different companies do their, like, demonstration, basically.
Yeah, that was interesting.
The bipedal robot marathon, actual marathon.
Well, I'm sure they didn't actually go for
No.
an actual marathon length. I'm sure they went for a much, much shorter length, but
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a full marathon, but
That'd be impressive if they didn't have to recharge or
yeah, that's the main problem, right? The battery.
that. I'm guessing that's like way off, right? That being possible.
Yeah, I guess we just haven't mastered that sort of energy conservation yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't need it for, like, if you were going to use those robots in any situation where you'd actually want to use one of those robots, you'd just have it, like, induction charge through the floor.
Sure, but then you'd have to like have presumably quite a large area where it can do that in order to charge up enough whilst it's still running.
Not necessarily, because you could have, essentially, the charging points be at the main places it stands at whilst it's doing whatever you want it to do. Like, while it was travelling between spots, it wouldn't necessarily have to have the charging then. But while it was stationary, because you'd obviously be knowing where that was going to happen.
Yeah, but that's the point, I suppose, is it would have to be stationary still to charge.
Yeah, but they would be quite a lot. Realistically, the whole point of this is that in actuality, you don't want robots to be able to walk around at all. You just want them to either be fixed in one place or be on not legs, because it's pointless for them to actually be on legs.
Hmm.
Put them on a rail. Like Wheatley.
Have you seen those videos of the Boston Dynamics one, the latest bipedal one? And they keep doing it where I swear I've seen multiple where it's challenges to put like car parts into a kind of shelf,
Right,
onto a shelf, and fit different parts into like this kind of fabric canvas shelf with like slots in it, and being able to cope with it being slightly out of alignment and looking at the thing and all that stuff, and walking.
Presumably while
walking.
some guy comes up behind it with a baseball bat.
Constantly poking it and knocking it over or whatever. That seems to be... It seems like... I mean, I know that's just a test rig, but presumably it's a realistic test rig in that that's the sort of thing that they expect these robots to be doing in the near term, right? Working in a car factory or something. But also, it seems like massive overkill to have extreme high technology
for that sort of manual labour.
Yeah, to put those parts in those bins. But I suppose it's just something that... Presumably it's something that's not worth automating in a traditional way or something.
No, it'll be like give them those sorts of tasks, but like it'll be when that will come into its own is those sorts of tasks in a dangerous environment or
exactly.
or with materials that you really, really don't want to drop potentially. Like
maybe. Anyway, I just thought it was curious how that seems to be after the previous version bipedal robot was like running along an assault course and doing flips and jumps and stuff, whereas this one seem to be showing it off doing something realistic, which is literally continually putting things in this bin. Anyway.
So that's the exact opposite of what you want to show off, though, because that's barely the bipedal parts involved at all. That's hand motion. Like just
it was
robot
mostly the
arm
hand
on a wheel.
Yeah, it's true. It's mostly it trying to align the item with the slot and fit it in there.
Yeah, if you had a solid enough base and a decent enough floor, then you could wheel around it and
just mount it in one place if everything was close enough together.
Sure, but yeah,
it is weird. I mean, it makes total sense, and I don't know why this wasn't really a thing in science fiction, but like it has all the risk, It has the shape of a human, but it can rotate its head 360 degrees, no problem, right? Why not? So it's quite weird how it looks sort of human-like, and then suddenly its head spins around like The Exorcist.
Well, that's just a failure of design, because it shouldn't even have a front and back part of its head in the design, then you wouldn't be able to tell.
Well, it's just because it's got cameras on the front, right?
Yeah, but it could just be like the cameras are inside a darkened transparent dome and the camera rotates inside.
Right, so you can't see.
You can't tell.
Yeah. Well, I guess so.
That might be better, but it's,
But no, the only advantage to that design is it's less creepy looking. There's no actual advantage.
I mean, you just said it's more creepy looking when it does that, though. It's like, it's 50% creepy looking in that case.
Yeah. But are you trying to optimize for less creepy looking for humans? I don't know. I guess probably a lot of the robots.
Well, to a certain extent, if these things are going to be acceptable in society,
it's true.
They've either got to look rad or they've got to not be creepy human-like things.
Just keep them in the car factories. Don't let them out until the AI takes over, which won't be long. Probably they'll be here before the physical robots.
Yeah, then they'll know which button to press. I noticed they added like AI product of the week, I suppose. Like,
what's the latest?
Well, I don't think it's latest. I've just caught up. It's like there's an AI chatbot in FL Studio now. Of all things.
Have you talked to it?
Yes, because it as a help resource. What a great idea.
You mean as a search box?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I could be like, how do I do this? And it goes, well, you could do it like this. And I'm like, okay, that's way faster than actually trying to Google it before.
Nice.
Is it way faster?
Yes.
Or is it slightly faster?
No, it is actually way faster. The amount of time it would take to find that information or the right information. Yeah, the FL Studio documentation is pretty thorough, but then you've got to wade through it to try and find the little nuance you're after. Whereas,
right. And this chatbot
this chatbot has been trained on the documentation and
exactly.
a bunch of stuff from the forums. So it's like,
it's fast.
It's decent.
But can it actually change your song, or does it just?
No, I haven't.
But that's clearly coming, right? If you're like, make this funkier.
I mean, there's definitely there's already tools to do that sort of stuff. They've got a chord progression tool. They've got their new thing in FL 2025 is what they call the loop starter, which this isn't particularly AI driven, I suppose, but it goes away to FL Cloud and grabs a bunch of samples from it to make like some loops for the genre you're interested in. And it's like, well, okay then. this is what music will be soon.
Yeah, and you won't be able to know to what extent AI is being used in the production of any given
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
I guess that's already true. But...
Yeah. It's getting there.
Yeah. It's that moment when it is quite a lot faster and you're like, damn, that was really helpful. It does happen.
Yeah. I use it on a regular basis now. I haven't had much experience with it yet, but GitHub Copilot went free.
Yeah, it did.
So yeah, I can now attach that to my Visual Studio and see what happens. Yeah, I have done. All I've seemed to notice so far is that the I haven't asked it many questions about my code base because I bet it would really struggle. But
never know.
You never know. I'll give it a go at some point. But
probably on the free one, it would definitely struggle.
Yeah,
we'll run out of tokens pretty fast.
But I've noticed the things that the autocomplete has changed, like what it suggests to type in that, and it suggests much longer things than it did before. Is all I say. I could be in the middle of writing a comment about a bit of code, and then it will the grey. Like you could press tab to have it write this for you, and that prose is much longer than it used to be before. Yeah,
multiple lines even.
Pretty rarely accurate enough, or how I would like it written. But
I mean, I obviously it's getting better and stuff, but I had to change it so that I use a key to trigger it because it was too distracting it coming up.
Yeah, I might have to do that because it does quite has such an imprint, right? It's because it's now doing really big chunks of stuff.
My problem with the key is that there isn't any real feedback when when you trigger it and it doesn't come up with anything.
Oh, I see. So
which is kind of annoying.
You're still sat there waiting, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
no, I guess it just didn't have a suggestion.
Yeah, exactly. I need some kind of feedback. So, in general, with this stuff, it's like the way that you as a human interact with the model in these different circumstances in this different software is evolving probably slower than the AI models themselves, quite a lot slower. It's quite hard to work out. I mean, the chat interface of just type in a question and receive text in response is fine. But for these more sophisticated things like coding or even the Fruity Loops, it's the way that you work with the model, and it's a bit awkward at the moment. It's really complicated. Some of the UI around it is like a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a simple problem until they can actually do it for you, if you know what I mean. And even then, it's like you need need a very potent undo. Let's put it that way.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I can sort of use the undo in the Copilot. It's more that, I don't know, I'm just complaining specifically about the thing. My problem is there's too many options right now, and I haven't got, I'm not actually doing any coding like much day to day, so I don't, for my work, so I don't have things to practice with, apart from stuff I come up with myself, which is really annoying. But like, it's like, well, if VS Code or Visual Studio doesn't work well, then use Cursor or something, or Windsurf, or there's or you should be using Claude Code, which runs in a CLI, or wait, you should use Gemini CLI, or it's like, what? There's 50 different fucking things.
Yeah, I know. It's not simple right now. It's still not simple, but...
And then people are like, oh, you should write all these million markdown files to like put in the context window so it has a ton of, like all the instructions of how your project works. And
right, yeah, tell it everything you know so it can do its job. And it's like, well, okay, in some respects, if you were in a big enough agency or a big enough company, right, like that's actually just your documentation, theoretically. But,
exactly.
But I've never worked anywhere that has that level of documentation.
No. But I guess you could start somewhere. I guess even starting small is good because, you don't have to include so much in the context each time. Yeah. So the latest, we're talking about coding software, but like VS Code, the latest release that I just downloaded yesterday or installed yesterday, I looked in the release notes and now it has a button in the Copilot agent mode which they've written a prompt that you just click a button and it fires off the prompt. And the prompt says, in a bunch of words, like, look at the code base and make an instructions file based on this code base. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Right. So it's doing the pre-work as an AI script.
Yeah, exactly. And so I ran it on a blank kind of web app code base, and pretty good result. It said, this is the tech stack, these are the conventions. It just got it from the code base, and it was like, that's a good starting point. And then that is then included in the context for subsequent requests. And it's neat. Anyway.
Yeah. Because that's how people do it for when they've been building their own AI powered smart home stuff, right? They've been they run a model, but they have this pre-prompt that runs ahead of time to be like, okay, when we talk about this, we mean this, and when we like this, we want this, but never do this. And of course, it ignores things like never do. It's like,
it doesn't actually listen sometimes.
No, but
that's my thing with all of this stuff. It's like you have to get experience to know the best way to talk to it to get the best results, and then the answer back sometimes is, well, if you need help writing the prompts, use AI to write the prompts. And it's like, it's going around in a chicken and egg situation.
That's not going to work necessarily.
This is very time consuming.
Yeah. I mean, I use Gemini quite a lot for image generation because I think it's pretty good at that stuff. And of course, Gemini free is actually, it's free.
Yeah.
And I think ChatGPT just launched their image generation through ChatGPT is now free. I think things like that. So a bunch of the image generation models are just opening up to people, which is nice. But it occasionally doesn't do what you ask it to do. Some of that is obviously and I don't mean the obvious ones, I've asked it to render someone in a particular risky scenario or something where it goes, I don't think I should do that.
The filtered ones.
Yeah. I don't mean that. I mean, you're being specific about how you want it laid out, and it just doesn't do it. Right. So I do this on pretty much a daily basis at the moment because I have a running joke with work. They did a bunch of corporate images and then told us you need to have one of these set as your background in Teams.
Oh no.
So, and pretty much the entire dev team picked this one of a puffin.
It's all a puffin behind everyone in every meeting. It's just puffins.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And it started to diversify a bit after that, after everyone realised they'd all pick the same one.
Okay.
But I've been doing a running joke every day where I've had a different background image, but I've been putting puffins into stupid situations.
Different puffins.
So I've even been putting puffins into the corporate pictures. I don't know, just one there's just some what looked like storage containers, I suppose, in one of these corporate photos. So I just did a puffin leaning round one in a sort of cooey pose, little things like that. Or here's a guy cameraing a boom mic for some reason, which is weirdly apt for today, for today's intro. So here's an overladen puffin with heavy camera equipment following him through this field and things. Anyway, stupid stuff like that. But I've been using Gemini to generate puffins for me, nice. And to try and book them so I can then Photoshop them into these corporate imagery, and then every now and then you need something quite specific, right? To be I need this puffin doing this thing, but I need it facing this direction. The lighting is like this. And da-da-da-da. So you get really quite specific and you get down to it and try and describe exactly how you want things. I want it in the left third of the picture. And the reason why I have to do all that because Gemini still doesn't have give it an image and it can edit it capabilities. There's a few of the models can do that, but I don't think they're usually the ones that are paid for. I think you can't. None of the free models really let you do that. So yeah, I'm having to generate a puffin and then Photoshop it into the scenario. So I'm describing how I want it, but every now and then it just angles and things like that. It's just not very good at. I need it facing away from the camera a little bit to the left, but not perpendicular, just a little bit, a few degrees away, and it will be facing you. Stuff like that. And then it's really hard to coerce it to do that. And I don't know what's been happening with Gemini in the last couple of weeks, but there was a period where you could then say, no, that was not quite right. Can you try that again, but make sure this is like this, this is, and it would go, oh, okay, no worries, let me have another go. And it would come up with something. But that functionality seems to have been turned off again recently, where now if you do a follow-up request, it goes, no, I can't edit a previous image. And it's like, I'm not asking you to edit the previous image. I'm asking you to have another go with the previous prompt in mind. And that seems to have stopped working. But it was working for a bit, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
AI's weird. It's clearly it's clearly in flux all the time, but and they're clearly messing with the platforms all the time to turn stuff on and off. But it's when I saw
that the Meet, which is the Google Teams equivalent or whatever, the video conferencing thing, has like
every time you say that, I immediately think of some steak. Like I don't know,
Meet,
just
MWT. It used to be Hangouts. I don't know why they changed the name.
Yeah,
and they changed it to Meet. I guess it's more corporate. They should have just kept Hangouts. What's wrong with Hangouts? Anyway, that's got
Meet.
like the you can set the backgrounds just like everything else. But they added the other day Gemini generate the background, right? And so my prompt naturally was potato shop.
Yeah.
So that's what's behind me now.
No. It's got to be Knuckles in a potato shop.
Knuckles in a potato shop.
And then you've got to finish the prompt with "he likes what he sees" and see if it will let you post it.
Yeah.
Because for ages, Bing wouldn't generate an image if you suffixed it with "he likes what he sees."
Likes what he sees.
it just sort of turned around and said, "No, I'm not going to do that."
It's too creepy. Too weird. Oh god. Anyway, that's the frontier of AI for you.
That's the AI section.
Yes. How does that affect? Is that going to make it easier to make Minecraft mods? I don't know. Or
I mean, it's going to allow Darth Vader to make comments about Sabrina Carpenter in Fortnite.
Right. Oh, God. Is that the latest thing, or has that already been?
That's been and gone. That happened.
Been and gone. Okay. Yeah.
They had AI-driven Darth Vader just hanging out in Fortnite for a while.
Sabrina Carpenter is passing me by. I think she's been number one for forever or something.
Is she the Espresso singer?
Yes.
Right, yeah, Espresso's pretty cool.
Yeah, she seems to be passing me by more than pop stars.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Chappell Roan or something that I'm into. I seem to have... or Olivia Rodrigo. I like her. Then
right. So that's... I think Rodrigo is my Carpenter. I had zero exposure to her. And then I see her on a big set at Glastonbury. I'm like, who is this?
Right. Because I'm the other way around. I missed her. I knew about Olivia Rodrigo and listened to her stuff. But I'm unaware of Sabrina Carpenter stuff. But I did see there was some controversy about a latest album cover or something. But it's amazing how you can completely miss the biggest thing in the world. She's not Taylor Swift big. Neither of them are.
No.
Yeah. But...
Well, I don't know about that. I haven't heard any of that either. But classic Facebook spam. The stuff I get about Sabrina Carpenter tends to be people are outraged at the outfit and dancing she was performing on stage. It was a bit sexy for the kids, and it's okay, come on, are we still doing this? Are we still doing this, or is this the next round of AI generated Facebook trolling?
I mean, none of this is as risque as what Madonna was doing in the 80s, right? I mean,
no. Oh man! Anyway. Speaking of AI generated stuff, did I talk about this on the podcast yet? My Facebook at the moment has this thing where there's this one ad for I guess a novel or a story or a series of podcasts. I'm not going to even say the name, but it's basically it's a vampire-esque style story. Because I don't want you to be drawn into that crap. And there's basically there's multiple ads, but there's one in particular where it seems to have the same script, but they've gone to the effort of making 4 or 5, it must be, maybe 3, maybe 4 different AI-generated video variants to go on top of this script.
Okay.
And just to make that even weirder, this ad is a quarter of an hour long.
I don't get it. What's the deal with these
It's so strange.
super long ads?
Yeah, because it's definitely the same story, but like there's one that I've seen 3 different variants of it. There's like a manga styled one. There's one that's like a modern day mall rat, maybe not mall rat, but modern day sort of styled one. There's one that seems to be superhero styled for some reason, or like Hunger Games styled or something. But it's the exact same script, just presented with a different AI video on top. But it's a lengthy ass thing. Someone's gone to the effort here to do ads for what is. If you spend any time looking at that script, if that script is unedited, that is a terrible, terrible script. And it kind of draws you in its awfulness. It's like Twilight fan fiction.
Impressive. Twilight, which one is it? No, it's 50 Shades is Twilight fan fiction, right?
Well, yeah.
Apparently.
That was how it started, right?
Yeah. But Twilight isn't fan fiction, it's just very derivative.
Sure.
Right? Not that everything in the vampire genre isn't, apart from Bram Stoker's original.
Brampires. Yeah, I'm done. Should we talk about the news?
Time for the video games. We had a little bit of video game chat in there, but let's have a lot now. What's going on in the world of news and shits? Right.
Well, let's get the big one out of the way. The awful Microsoft news. Corporations be corporations. Microsoft declared that they were going to sack 9,000 of its employees across the business. That's everywhere, and not just Xbox, but that is all of Microsoft. And as a result, Xbox has been fairly heavily affected. My take on it, I have not a lot to base this on, but my take on it is that this came from above Xbox, and Xbox just kind of had to deal with it. They won't say as much, obviously, but that's how it kind of feels, especially because of the amount of investment that is going into AI recently and stuff like that. It seems to be like Microsoft's where all the money is going in Microsoft is into AI projects at the cost of pretty much everywhere else in the business. So outside looking in, that's my take on it. But what does that mean in real numbers? So I think it was Phil Spencer, but they described it as they've been removing layers of management, and it's like, no, that's not all they've really been doing. And it kind of sucks for Xbox in particular because they are making record levels of profit at the moment, despite, ignoring the amount of money that was spent on the Activision Blizzard purchase, of course. But if you took that out of the picture, the amount of the running cost to money in ratio is one of the best it's ever been for Xbox. So
because of Game Pass?
Presumably because of Game Pass, and because, don't forget, they have Activision now, so that's just going to boost the numbers.
Oh, right. So money from selling PlayStation games.
Pretty much, probably. Sure. Can't hurt, can it?
No.
So, yeah, who's affected? Probably the worst hit studio is apparently Turn 10, makers of Forza Motorsport. With
it's like they're one of their one biggest tentpole first-party studios, isn't it?
Kinda, although you might argue that Playground usurped them in that position because the Horizon series does much better than Motorsport.
Oh, fair. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, the last Forza was a bit divisive.
They both British? Is Playground British? Or?
Yes, I believe they both are. Yeah,
they're both British. Okay. Did one spin out of the other, or were they always?
No, I think Playground was separate.
Right. Okay.
But obviously
did Playground make Forza Horizon 1 or whatever?
Believe so. Yeah, right, I think they've done them all.
Right. Okay. Just clarifying.
Yeah, not 100% sure on the first one, but I think they've done everything from 2 onwards. I never played the first one, so I can't remember.
So that makes sense. Forza is a bit niche.
Yeah, it's a little bit niche, but it's arguably in a bit of a rough spot because the last Forza Motorsport, well, I don't know, you just have to have a quick look on YouTube and there's so many people like ranting about it and its systems and its car loyalty progression system. And it's, I don't know, I didn't really have much of a problem with it when I played it. It's like it felt good to drive, it looked good. I think maybe the problem is that it doesn't, that Simcade space is kind of dominated by either the F1 games or Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, yeah.
And there's anyone who's interested in those has those.
And Gran Turismo's got a huge advantage on console because more people have PlayStations. Regardless of the game.
So, and then even further afield, if you're into simulation races, there's plenty of stuff for you already, right? But you tend to have a PC, you tend to have a rig. But if you're into sim races, that tends to be what you do, right? So it's Forza finds itself in a kind of squeezed out spot. And you would, I don't know, I haven't played it for a while, so pretty much since launch, but apparently they have revamped and fixed a lot of the issues that people were complaining about at launch, so it's in a good spot now. But that's the problem. It's in a good spot now, when no one's really talking about it anymore. Former employees at Turn 10 have reportedly said, yeah, this is probably the end of Forza Motorsport as you know it. There's no talk of cancellations or there's no talk of the studio being closed at this point in time, but heck, if you're losing half your staff, I wouldn't expect a new game anytime soon. Speaking of which, in British development, Rare has also been heavily affected. And we were just talking about this last podcast, I think. Everwild is officially cancelled.
Right.
Also efficiently.
Efficiently and officially.
Efficiently cancelled. Yeah. Shades of Cameo there, I would say.
There's... Reports are coming out about how that thing was going on. Like, apparently it had been rebooted at least once during the dev cycle. Into starting again. They had been struggling to get the ideas to stick into a... what do you call it? A compelling package, like a good game loop, I suppose.
Yeah.
But there's conflicting reports about where it was now, with some people reporting it was still in rough shape, but with other people saying no. Now they were starting to make real progress on it. But perhaps that's the kicker there, starting to make real progress, like in a game that has been in development for a very, very long time at this point. Yeah. So, kind of not surprising, that one, I guess. But where does that leave Rare in terms of a new project? Like, are they doing anything else? Is it just Sea of Thieves forever now?
Who knows what's going on in Twycross?
Yeah. Kind of bit disappointing. ZeniMax were working on a new MMO of some description. This is the Elder Scrolls Online team, called codename Blackbird. We didn't have a real name. We don't know much else about it than that. That has been cancelled. And a whole studio has been closed. The initiative has been shut down, which you might not know of because they've never released a game, but they were the lead studio on their new Perfect Dark game.
I told you from the beginning. Yeah. That was vaporware. That was not a real game. It never was a real game. I don't believe it.
I don't believe in the phrase vaporware in this instance.
Okay.
It was being worked on. There was a lot of people working on it. Crystal Dynamics was still working on it.
Sure. I know, there was that demo that was somewhat concrete, but like, when that got announced, I was like, this is never going to happen. This isn't real. and lo, it came to pass.
Apologies. I've got my comments about Everwild and Perfect Dark conflated. The stuff about it being rough shape, but some people saying it coming together, that was about Perfect Dark, not about Everwild. Sorry, wrong game. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm more disappointed about that one, to be honest, because it's like I would have liked to have seen what a new rebooted take on Perfect Dark is.
Yeah.
And the like, even if that trailer was, or do they call it, a bull shot of some description? Even if that is the case, I'm kind of down with the vibe it was giving. Like, it seemed cool.
Sure, it's always sad when these things. Endeavors. Yeah.
Definitely. I can't see why it was a bad idea, if you know what I mean, right? I can't see why it was. Well, yeah, it would have been nice. Another game I had completely forgotten about, and I still, to be honest, can't really remember what it was. Contraband was in development. The trailers for that have gone private on YouTube, meaning you can no longer watch that. But it hasn't been officially stated that has been cancelled or anything like that, but those have just disappeared. So the speculation is there that too is also a casualty. Don't think that Call of Duty has got off scot-free. All of the studios involved with Call of Duty have had some amount of layoffs as well. Yeah, it's a pretty bad show all around, really. And it's, as I said, it seems pretty inexplicable, given that, in theory, Microsoft are in a good place financially, or at least Xbox division is in a good place financially. But, yeah, it seems that that's the play at the moment. If you're a stock market type person, broker. If you're into that kind of stuff, right? Because like at the moment, firing people raises your stock price. That just seems to be what happens. Across any industry almost at the moment. So yeah, that is what has happened. And I just don't think it helps Xbox's position. That's the problem. It's like it feels
like Xbox as a division is being kind of, despite the fact it's more profitable than ever, it seems to be being wound up a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's strange, isn't it? Like it's like it's almost like there's no fight left in them, and so they're going off in these weird directions that aren't really what the core audience shouts about. Right? The whole "this is an Xbox" thing, online streaming. There's, skipping a little bit ahead. There's a separate news thing that there's rumors swirling out that the next Xbox platform isn't going to be a console as we know it. Like, it's not going to be a hyper optimized box or anything like that. It'll be pretty much just a PC, but running a new Xbox front end. In Windows, like it's not even got an own Xbox specific OS or anything like that. It'll just be a PC that happens to run Xbox, a bit like a Steam Deck, but for your telly. Which I'm in two minds about. Is that necessarily a terrible idea? Probably not, because suddenly you can then buy a box that gives you all the flexibility you want. It has the Xbox platform there. It will have Steam on it, theoretically, right? Because it will just be a Windows machine. You could do that. You could...
I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it, right? It's weird. Like, what on earth is happening with their handheld? Because it's like they're in theory, their own handheld is on hold. And they've just released that. Well, okay, I don't think it's released yet, but the weird Xbox ROG Ally, right? That's just an Ally with an Xbox button and a half-baked Xbox front end on it.
I feel like you're getting into a situation of competing directly with Switch 2, which is quite hard because...
Well, I mean, I'd argue the Steam Deck already does that, right? It's already in there.
Exactly. But, like... You're never going to get the efficiencies of Switch 2, like with running Windows, you know?
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. So, like, what would this... If these rumours are to be believed, what would this box even be? Like, presumably not cheap like a console, because, I don't know, maybe it'll just be made out of parts rather than, like, highly optimised, like a, special SoC or something like that, like the current consoles currently are.
This doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Well, I think we'll have to wait and see what the hell is actually going to happen.
But at this point in time, it's like with everything that Xbox have been doing recently, it's like, yeah, I guess I can believe it. It's. I'm not sure I agree with it, or if that's just my traditionalist stance to consoles, like coming out a little bit. But I don't know. Microsoft are being so weird at the moment. I could believe it.
The only thing that would make sense to me is, like, not that this would ever happen, would be a full-blown, let's just fucking buy Valve or whatever, and not that they would sell, and they're not even public, are they, Valve?
No, they're not.
Private.
No.
But, like, unlike Activision, but if they got together and then the next Xbox was actually a Steam Deck, and they don't even run Windows, they actually run Steam OS, but they make it Microsoft front end or whatever, because you don't really care that your Xbox Series X is running what operating system it's running. I don't even know what it is running, like its own cut down Windows.
Yeah, it'll be Windows-esque, right? Because that's always been I say it's always been the thing, but I think that's been the thing since Xbox One, at least.
Yeah. But, like, I guess that would be weird for Microsoft to ship a Linux device, but it's like, who cares? That, like, I don't think consumers don't care.
Yeah, in some respects, I don't think Microsoft would care particularly anymore.
And that would be the only thing that made total sense. It's like, just forget, don't even compete. It's like with Activision. It's like, don't even compete, just join forces or whatever, and like make tons of money. Just combine Steam with Game Pass, and then that is really compelling.
Yeah,
that won't happen, but that's the only thing that would actually make sense if I was like in charge of Xbox. It's like, fuck it, let's just use all our money and try and get Gabe back into Microsoft.
But then that's almost what this box would be capable of, right? If it was just a Windows PC, it wouldn't be SteamOS or anything like that. You wouldn't have, but you could still run Steam Big Picture on it. You could probably configure it so that's the default, and then you could drop into the Xbox interface to play Game Pass stuff. Like, it could potentially be, at least for people like me, I guess, like a best of both worlds console that I can stick under my telly and do everything. I
just think it's not going to be powerful enough for a fancy 4K TV without being...
It depends what this box is. We just don't know.
Yeah.
You know. You couldn't put out a bit of hardware like this that was less powerful than a Series X, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to at least best that. But then, obviously, how much is this thing going to be? Yeah. All that stuff suddenly becomes a problem.
I don't know what they're going to do. I'm sort of interested, because I guess I'm completely out of it at the moment, because I've got myself a PlayStation 5 and a Switch 2, and I've no desire for any Xbox products after being a loyal 360 person at the time.
I mean, outsider looking in, unless you're like really into Game Pass like myself, why would you buy an Xbox now, right? Because if you're okay, I'm going to use the term serious gamer, and I mean that, and I mean that in the form of a gaming enthusiast, like I think we all are.
More so you guys.
Sure, but we have PCs that can play pretty much anything that comes out on Xbox, and those PCs can now also play PlayStation games to a certain extent, right? Because Sony are releasing out there. It's like, why would you buy an Xbox? It's like you can your PC. Okay, PCs are way more expensive. That's why you would buy an Xbox, but you wouldn't buy an Xbox. You'd buy a PlayStation. It's just like there is the argument for getting Xbox is probably the least it's ever been.
Yeah,
maybe the future is that like Xbox and PlayStation will become engines instead of consoles. It will just be you just have a PC, but then when you boot into a game, it will be like Unreal Engine, except it's just the Xbox engine that's optimized for how they like the game, make games.
I wonder if you get to the point where your system, like every one of those, is like an OS. It's like here's my PlayStation drive.
Well, yeah, or that, or you just like have a PC that has like triple dual booting, where you just go to reboot into Xbox mode.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that doesn't sound super far fetched. I mean, I bet that will start happening when, SteamOS is outperforming Windows, right, in certain areas already. So it's like, there's an argument for dual booting your PC with SteamOS in some cases.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be weird if the new hardware came from like Epic and they controlled the Unreal Engine and it was like super optimized for Unreal games and then
For this specific hardware or this specific OS, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be so weird.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we're getting. I don't know that the amount of people that actually want to do unique hardware is dwindling.
Yeah, it's true.
But also people don't want to spend £2,000 on a PC.
Yeah.
Most people.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a ridiculous amount of money, and it's not as pick up and play as a console is. Hell,
Like,
I would say SteamOS isn't even there yet, right? It's not console level yet. It
Right.
is.
Exactly.
I mean, just this week, I think I've had to reboot my Steam Deck with a hard power off maybe 3 times because I've managed to hang the OS or get a bit of GUI stuck on screen and I can't get rid of it. You know,
That's what I mean.
That thing is not bulletproof. It's like
if you could spend like 2,000 or more, or up with no upper cap or whatever for stupid graphics cards on a PC, get it at home, just plug it into a TV and a console and like a console and play with it like that. But you can't because it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't
right?
quite
it's
work
not
like
as
that.
convenient like
Yeah.
that, and it still doesn't work like that.
No.
And I don't know if that's even possible to get to.
It feels like such a miss on Microsoft's part that, when Steam started doing big picture, I think we could all see it's like, oh, hey, you could actually do PCs for the living room like this. Something Microsoft always wanted to do back in the day, right? With Media Center and all that crap.
Right. I mean, that's what the Xbox X-Bone situation was supposed to be about.
Yeah,
wasn't
let's
it?
get a
want
PC.
to be the heart of your living room.
Yeah,
type thing.
100%. And it's like Steam Big Picture came along and was like, well, okay, you can pull that off to a certain extent with that. Why Microsoft hasn't fulfilled that with Xbox is a
It's
bit
weird
baffling.
that no one's really done it. Even Apple haven't really tried. They've got Apple TV.
They've got
It's
Apple
not
TV,
like,
yeah.
but Apple TV is not.
It's not a
you know,
console.
iPad OS or whatever. It's not an operating. I don't know. I guess you have apps for Apple TV.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it is kind of iOS-y.
Yeah.
When you write apps, right, you can deliver them to Apple TV pretty easily.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway. Weird.
Yeah, it's a strange place. Anyway, the as if this wasn't any of that Microsoft news wasn't bad enough about the layoffs and stuff. Like the management in Microsoft really have just been like a we don't care attitude to the whole thing. To the point where they even suggested that staff affected by the layouts ask Copilot for help to deal with the cognitive load. And it's like, are you serious right now?
Who the fuck said that?
Yeah, I didn't get a name for that, but that is the quote. It's like, yeah, to deal with the cognitive load. And it's like, oh my god, you're selling Copilot to the people you're laying off. Like,
Someone from Microsoft actually say that.
yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
it's a full-on Don Matrick.
That is appalling.
It's awful. And apparently they were holding like a on the day everyone was told they were getting laid off, there was like an AI developers round table, like invitational or something, and be like, hey developers, come to this round table about AI. Oh, by the way, you might be fired. Like,
Oh, by the way, you're fine.
it's completely
But it's
tone
not
deaf.
like we're firing you because your job's been replaced by AI. It's
No.
that your job is no longer exist because we're investing in AI development somewhere else in Microsoft, right?
Yeah, and even if it's not that, your job isn't as valuable as the stock market bump we might get by you not having it.
By this job not existing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mental.
Yeah. And you just know that'll probably swing back the other way, right? It's just like...
Well, we just need boom time economy to come back, and then it will be the overinvestment will begin again, right?
Yeah,
And
we'll begin.
the overstaffing will begin again.
Yeah.
If it even is overstaffed, like I'm sure the studios will say no, we're not.
It'd be nice to get some smaller games, I don't know, with smaller teams. But that's not how they work. They cut the giant team, right? And then there's nothing.
Ugh, and don't get me started on that, because Microsoft have said in the past they do want smaller titles.
That's why they kept buying all those studios, isn't
yeah.
it?
They wanted the big prestige titles, yes, but they wanted a range. They wanted smaller titles that are like indie darling status, and they got one of those. It was Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
And then they sold the studio.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't sell the studio. They shuttered it, and then it got bought by Krafton, who
well, that's good.
are potentially shady in their own way.
God.
Segue. Zach, do you want to do you want to talk to me about Subnautica 2 and what the hell is going on over there?
What's going on?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things where people have just said things and, no one knows which side is true because both sides have been saying things as, well, not always.
The immortal words of Fred Durst.
Yeah.
It's all about the he said, she said.
So there's probably no women involved in this whole thing.
The great philosopher, Fred Durst.
What a poet.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
So anyway,
It's just one of those days.
The top,
It's one of those days.
the top 3 lead developers, I guess, of the Subnautica studio, Unknown Worlds, got fired. And then they went on to Twitter or whatever website they happened to choose, but they said that, that basically Subnautica 2 was ready for early access, and I don't know if they explicitly said it or whether it was just heavily implied that the publisher then delayed the early access release of Subnautica 2 into 2026 because they don't think it's ready. But coincidentally, when Unknown Worlds got bought by the publisher, they had a contract clause that was like, if you make so much money before the end of presumably financial year 25, you'll get a huge bonus. And, now that this game is not going to come out into early access within that time period, they're not going to have the chance to get that giant bonus.
Right, yeah, they're not going to make the money that could possibly fulfill that target.
Yeah, so that was suspicious. But then after that came out, then the publisher, Krafton, came back with their own corporate-esque Twitter post or whatever, and they said basically that, firstly, that these 3 developers they fired weren't necessarily doing their job very well, and they were spending a lot of time on personal projects instead of actually working on the game. But that is also, under the assumption that they think that the early access version of Subnautica wasn't as far along as they wanted.
Right, yeah, because Krafton did say they didn't think it was launch ready.
Yeah,
right?
Whereas the developers say it totally was, so they obviously don't agree on that aspect.
Yeah, they put out a statement saying it was like 30% away from where it needed to be or something like that, right? It was content light and...
Yeah. So that's their side of the story. And then, also...
But it's just to come back on that, it's a bit of a weird thing, right? Because I guess that's the difference between being publisher owned, right, and being independent, I guess. Sure, it's like before... what's the name of the Subnautica studio? I forget.
Worlds.
Yes, yeah, they could have just said, yeah, fine, we can do that, we're in control of that, but the publisher goes, oh, no.
Well, presumably, yes. I mean, so then the developers came back and are basically saying that they're going to sue the publisher for presumably
unfair dismissal
with a side of slander or something, because they also
my favourite side.
Yeah. Because of that, saying that they weren't doing their job, basically. And also, there was some implication by Krafton that, even if the studio had earned this huge bonus, these 3 lead developers were planning on keeping 90% of it for themselves. And it's just like...
Okay.
What? So what? I mean, but also, you shouldn't be saying that.
I mean, definitely not so what, but also...
Well, somewhat so what.
Yeah, depends if that was the agreement or not.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even know what the contract said about that.
No.
That could have literally been the contract that they signed in the first place.
That could have been the deal, yeah. I mean, it's not a great deal.
No.
But it doesn't look good outside, but that could have been the deal. So legally, what have they got to stand on there?
But yeah, so basically, I mean, who knows? Well, at this point, we don't know whether, that lawsuit will happen, or even if it does, it's probably just settlements or whatever, so we'll never actually know any actual details about this whole thing. But yeah, both sides have been saying a bunch of shit, and it's just generally pissed people off.
Well, yeah, because it puts the game... you don't want it to, but it does throw the game under the spotlight in a negative way.
Yes.
And
then just to make just to make the publisher's side of this look even more suspicious, they then went ahead and released the trailer from the early access version of Subnautica 2, whilst simultaneously saying, but you can't have it yet, so you have to wait till 26. It's like, this is obviously kind of a bit of a distraction tactic you're doing here.
Yeah.
Look at the pretty thing. Don't look at all the stories that are coming out about it right
here's
now.
some positive news. Look at this. Let's watch American Gladiators.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of pissed everyone off who wanted Subnautica 2. And those are the people that matter. It's all the developers and the publishers. Only care about the gamers, I guess.
I mean, the thing we don't know is like what actual impact on the game this really does have, because it's hard not to agree with the stance of let it cook.
Sure.
For game development, it's like if you can give them more time before launching it, give them more time before launching it.
But it is still weird for it being a delay of an early access.
Yeah.
Like, early access could be the delay. Like, if you're going to say this early access is going to take 6 months longer than we initially expected because we're going to continue working on it more, you could have done that.
But I also just think early access is a slightly tricky thing when you've got a publisher. Like, if you, in a weird way, like early access makes way more sense when you're independent to an extent, because you're not beholden to the demands of a higher power to an extent. It's like you're doing what you want to do.
That would just depend on whatever contracts and like
it does.
what the financial aspect of it is. Like, if you're still selling the early access, so there's still money being made, and like, you then have to like predict what the tail off of that is versus the launch sales or whatever.
It does, but there's an element of you can launch a game in early access in fairly rough state and make it good before release, and that doesn't necessarily hurt you. But a traditional publisher might not agree with that, like, because it's like that initial launch to them is still a launch, and so if it comes out not good, they don't want the negative sentiment to carry over to the final product. It's just a different way of thinking about it, and I see both sides. But like early access with a publisher, I can see why that is slightly maybe a fraught relationship. Like,
I feel like that it's more a matter of like in that when you have a publisher, that just means you have to commit harder to like actual dates, even through the early access.
Yeah,
you have to say this early access is only going to last.
Well, the publisher wants a return on investment. Right? Yeah, that's all they're really after. Yeah, at that point, it is unfortunately all about the money.
So we'll wait until next year to find out what Subnautica 2 is actually like. Because I mean, the whole point of Subnautica 1 was like it launched in, relatively speaking, for the time, even, like, super early access. Then it got popular because of YouTube, basically, while it was still in very early access. And then that popularity allowed the early access to be quite, well, I don't know if it's necessarily correct to say efficient, but, like, they got told by all the people playing the early access version lots more than there would have been because it became popular, but like they got told what needed doing and what ideas that they should implement and whatnot, so that made the game better in the end.
Which explains Unknown World's
enthusiasm for early access.
To do it again, yeah.
But conversely, supposedly, and I'm less clear on this story, but supposedly Sub-Zero went into a much shorter early access cycle and was worse because of it.
Right, yeah.
So that would also reinforce the idea that, you know, long early access cycle would help them. But that's the difference between being an independent studio and a publisher again. Because, like, when you're an independent studio and you're like, holy shit, our game came out together and sold 1 billion copies, that's a nice surprise. But if you're going to assume that that's going to happen a second time while the publisher has now bought you, that's maybe, you can't necessarily do that.
Yeah. Trickier. Same with being owned, any company being owned by some other company, right? Yeah. There's always the...
And sequels.
And sequels,
The sequel problem. Assuming that the exact same thing is going to happen again is usually not a good assumption.
It's always the guise of safety that these things happen, right? When you get bought, it's like, oh yeah, we'll be much safer now. We're part of a bigger entity. And it's like, no, it just means you're under bigger scrutiny. in some respects. Or the money side is under scrutiny.
And, just to add another smaller layer of problems, it's just like, it's not like we haven't been in a quite severe period of early access sequels going badly recently.
Sure.
Particularly
you thinking Kerbal Space?
Well, yeah, particularly in the, close by genres, well, not even necessarily genres, but close by, game period. Kerbal Space Program and City Skylines were kind
City
of
Skylines too, yeah.
simultaneous with Subnautica in their popularity. It was
right. Yeah.
I mean, not exactly the same year or anything, but the same area of time. And they both shitted up their early access sequels real bad.
It's a technical term.
Yeah.
I missed a bit of Xbox news.
Oh yeah.
We're going to hear about Halo in October, apparently.
Whatever that means at this point.
Yeah.
We think
I hope reboot. Yeah.
Yeah, reboot with the Unreal Engine, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they
that
already announced
is
their Unreal
technically, if you wanted to imply that engine footage they showed before was a teaser, then that's what they implied, but that was clearly just a tech demo.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, we can't really base it on that, but
No.
but I would hope, I would look forward to a full on reboot, not just a
you think they
remaster,
do
not like another remaster or something like that. I want a reimagining, start again.
Yeah,
what
do you think
do
they
with this?
do a opener world on the original Halo ring type thing? Like you kind of saw in the Macworld trailers for Halo, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because they could pull that off, but wait, what do you do? Do you have access to the whole ring or just a portion of it, right? Because that was how they got around that in Infinite, right? By having it sort of on busted up bits of ring. So, because think about the structure of the ring, right? That makes kind of traversing the open world kind of linear.
Well, not that linear. It's still kilometers wide.
Yeah,
away.
it's pretty wide.
Yeah. I mean, I know, but also but it does mean that the map is effectively just one very long, thin strip. If you do the whole ring, you need to think of a reason to not do that.
Well, I mean, there's obvious reasons to not do that. When the two obvious reasons are either obviously all the important buildings are going to be in one place. Not just randomly spread across the entire surface of the ring.
I guess we never got a feel for that in the Halo games, how that actually was structured.
Or alternatively, the other obvious option is you just make it so that the ring isn't a complete finished product and it just has bits that just aren't done. So it's there's no reason to go over there. There's nothing up there.
Well, yeah, that was in some respects that was.
I mean, I guess
Halo
you've got
games.
the sea that surrounds the silent cartographer
There are
or
quite
whatever.
a lot of oceans.
Presumably that sea goes pretty much from
Edge to edge.
each edge to edge. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I don't think they really have to do the whole ring necessarily. That would be kind of annoying for an open world map, compared to Skyrim or Zelda. If it was all how would you navigate the map? That would be annoying.
I mean,
you'd have to spin a giant ring. I guess that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, it'd be cool visually if you could fly across the gap in the middle. If you could take off and go up to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd go to a one of the Forerunner structures that shoot those lasers into the sky, and you turn into a laser and shoot to the other side of the ring.
I mean, you don't even have to get to the exact opposite side.
Yeah, I guess.
Guilty Spark will just teleport you about. It's
well,
fine.
sure.
Yeah, sure.
When you get to Guilty Spark. But I actually kind of don't want another open world one. It's
Sure,
Infinite was fine. Don't get me wrong. It was a nice change of pace. But it suffered that any of the actual mission-y stuff, the bits where you go and do the story-based stuff, really suffered because of that design, because they weren't different. Each area was kind of oh, now we're going into the into the ring. We're going into the stuff inside, the buildings and stuff inside. And they kind of all look the same.
Well, that's just
you know
the
what I mean?
Fallout and Mass Effect problem with the building interiors.
A little bit, yeah. It didn't really have that. This is the mission where you do this. This is the mission where you do that. I honestly, looking back on Infinite now, I cannot really remember mission to mission. I remember the open world, but I don't even really remember the story beats particularly well at this point. It makes a less memorable game. Or it did in Infinite's case. I'm not saying that's an unsolvable problem, but it's it was a problem with Infinite. Like, I think back to pretty much any Halo game before that, and even Halo 5 to an extent, and I can say, like, oh yeah, this is where this happened, this is where this happened, this mission was like this moment's iconic. Stuff like it really resonates in my brain, like what happens in those previous games, and I don't get that from Infinite.
Yeah.
Just give me a normal ass shooter.
I mean, there are still, like, other ways you could make the open world much cooler. Like, it would be so much work, but just imagine it being like a ongoing battle where the actual bits of map can, like, planet side, make it like so that Covenant can take over bits of the map, but you can also push them back. And then, like, while they're there, they set up different defenses or whatever.
I mean, yeah, it could be fun if it escalates. The risk with gameplay design like that is repetition, right?
And also, like, optimization, where it's just like you're just going to win or whatever, and then you'll never see any of the other content that could have existed if you weren't so good or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's a completely different design problem, but could be interesting. I think if they were to carry on with the Infinite formula, maybe that's what they do. But then it doesn't necessarily fit with rebooting Halo. It perhaps fits with Atriox and the whole Halo Infinite plotline, right? It does. If they had that mechanic in Infinite, probably would have fit quite well.
I thought Infinite was going to be like Destiny, and it wasn't.
No,
I thought it was going to be like raids, right?
Yeah, 343 kind of dropped the ball on a lot of what we thought Infinite was going to be, and I think that was the problem, right? Like they couldn't, even with the multiplayer side of things, they just couldn't get the support pipeline together to make content for that thing fast enough. It was up against, it was in a post Fortnite era where that thing is churning out stuff almost on a weekly basis. And it's like, don't get me wrong, no one can compete with that. Well, but it's like...
It's a different grade of stuff in Fortnite, though. It's not like they're making a new map every week.
No, true. But do you know what I mean? There was stuff happening in that space, and it was exciting when stuff happened, whereas Infinite just... They sat on it. Like, it came out, and... what did they have? They had like an incredibly long season of samurai-related gear or something you could potentially unlock.
They also had the problem they had to fucking fix everything for the first month or whatever.
That wasn't so bad. The game was pretty functional at launch.
Pretty functional.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't Master Chief Collection bad. They just didn't keep up. They didn't keep it interesting, and that was the problem. That's what ticked off most Infinite players. Because if you think about it, at that point in time, there'd been quite a gap between anyone who had been playing Halo would probably been playing other games, and then they come back to Infinite and they're used to the other game's cadence of support. And you come back to Infinite, and it's not that. It's like it's a bit of a difficult pill to swallow, and so it didn't maintain. There's definitely people that still play it. It's still a good game, one could argue, but you've got to go big.
Bro,
they just didn't have
maintain.
It. Yeah, you got to go big, and they just didn't have it. But then there was a bunch of stuff like there's a bunch of stuff about the Halo Infinite single player map that suggested there was more to come. Like there was these weird structures about the map that just didn't really do anything. But you found them about the place, and you're like, what is this? Like, this has got to be something, right? And so speculation was about there was going to be DLC content for, or some additions to the single player for extra stuff to do around these structures that never came. The split screen never came. That was promised, right? Like, and that they never delivered on that. They did eventually. They did give us co-op online, but not split screen again. So yeah, Infinite had a bunch of failed promises, which is its biggest problem. Overpromised.
So when was it again? What was the news? When are they settling us?
October.
What's happening?
October. We'll learn something.
Okay, we'll tune back in then.
The future of Halo will be revealed, they say.
They're going to announce another season of the TV show.
Season 3.
Reboot.
Well, now Netflix have picked it up. Season 3 is probably happening, right?
I guess.
What? Is that? What?
Netflix picked up the Halo show from Paramount.
Yeah.
No way. Why? It's terrible, isn't it?
I don't know. We haven't watched it, but
Oh. Okay.
Anthem is being shut down in January of 2026. I'm kind of surprised it's still running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
News.
BioWare. Yeah.
Yeah, BioWare's giant misstep. Again, probably management driven.
Because they were told to make that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I say not that Andromeda wasn't a misstep as
Sure.
well. Yeah.
But at least Anthem at the time was less of a misstep than it would have been if you were making it now. Because at least back then people weren't quite so fed up with live service online co-op shooters.
Yeah, I guess. Man,
I mean, it was on the way at that point, but it wasn't like as bad as it is now.
Man, in some way that makes Anthem's failure worse,
Yeah.
actually, because it's like it didn't have the current sentiment against it, and it still sucked. Oh boy. And finally, Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox in August.
Now that it's out of its exclusivity window or whatever.
Yeah. I kind of thought that was Sony published, and so like Sony just had control of that, and so it was never going to come anywhere else.
I mean,
I guess they could just get another publisher.
well,
Like,
yeah, I don't know how they're actually managing that, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously was Sony published because of the whole PSN fiasco.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that whole thing.
And then how's that going to work on the Xbox? It's kind of...
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point.
The second half of that PSN fiasco was the whole idea that, like, they needed it for tracking the logins or whatever, and, like, Steam alone wasn't going to be enough, even though, like, that problem had already been solved in, like, well, I guess in the Epic backend at least.
To some extent,
Rocket
yeah.
League and all that stuff.
Linked accounts, but they would have had to have done work to do that still.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now you're going to be putting it on Xbox, so what are you going to do? Log into PSN through Xbox? That'll be fun.
I mean, I guess, yeah. It's weird. Unless it won't have cross... I think they've said it will have crossplay, haven't they?
I mean, you'd have to hope it does, because
Yeah.
it would be a real bad idea to not have crossplay.
Well, I don't know. There's been a bunch of people saying, like, actually, like, it just means there's a whole bunch of new players coming in, so, like, the pros will start getting matched with noobs.
Well,
and it's like,
that should be that's a problem that you should solve with matchmaking, not with
Yeah.
cutting off the other half of the people from the other half. I don't even know what the like matchmaking backend is in that game.
yeah, no idea. No idea how it would do that.
I mean, presumably, you do unlock stuff, so presumably there is an inherent kind of marker of how much you've played the game.
Yeah, you could have, like, a gear level, I
Yeah.
guess, because of how much you've unlocked. That's news.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe not all news. It's like I didn't really write it.
It's not all these that's happened in the entire world this week,
No.
especially.
No. Minor segue, I suppose, but like to the what you've been playing section, because there's been a bit of a rumbling going on in the background about Switch 2, the quality of the Switch 2 screen, right? And that as people have been analysing it and looking into it a bit more, it's like the results haven't been particularly kind on specifically its response time, right? So the amount of time it takes to change a pixel from one colour to another.
So who can talk about this? Because I only play in dot mode.
Yeah.
Zach is the only person who's been playing.
Yeah, I have been, but I don't notice resolution as we've previously
It's
mentioned.
not resolution.
No,
Yeah,
it's the
this
same thing, basically.
This is motion clarity.
Okay.
It's worth checking into like the DF conversations on it, because it is kind of interesting. Yeah, and fair enough to you, Zach. Like, there's part of that argument is a great deal of people just don't notice it, and they write in to tell you about it.
I mean,
And
I don't think I would know what I was even looking for at
So
this point.
the problem with response time is that it creates a slightly blurry image. Like, so when a frame switches to not in the sense of like squinting, you're squinting your eyes and it literally blurring. It creates like a traily image,
Right.
I guess. The amount of time when a frame switches to another frame, you would like that to be as fast as possible. But the amount of time it takes for the Switch 2 to change its display to the next frame is a bit on the slow side, leading to sort of motion trails, I guess, across the screen. I should caveat this. It's not as bad as the original PSP screen, because that, although that was pretty early, like, color LCD tech, it was pretty good, right? That
it was before smartphones.
Yeah,
awesome.
for the time, that PSP screen is great, but motion clarity is
the one dead pixel that every single one of them had.
I think I got a good one. My one was all right, but that was super common. Yeah, you're right. Almost every PSP had one dead pixel.
I think I had one dead pixel, but it was an awesome screen. Like,
for the time, it was incredible. But motion clarity.
When was that? Like, because it was.
God, that's like 2004-ish,
right? So that's, and the iPhone came out 2007, right?
Yeah, wow, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, that screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
anyway
damn decent. But yeah,
obviously the worst possible performance of an LCD screen of that type.
That's sort of the problem. Like, motion clarity wasn't its thing. Black on a full black to white conversion, transition could be quite easily seen, which made like certain effects in Loco Roco look a bit weird.
Sure.
I seem to remember it being like the different colors, like the RGB moved at different rates on that PSP screen. So the red would always like outpace the others. So when things streaked, like they tend to be a red streak because the red was able to transition fast. Like it was slightly odd, but
right. I loved my PSP. It was great.
PSP was a great machine. Yeah, I played so much Lumines on it.
Played a lot of Wipeout Pure and Ridge Racer as well. It was pretty good.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great machine at the time. So like there was the problem. So it's similar to that on the Switch too. And in fairness, I'm a bit like you, Dan. I've pretty much had it docked the entire time. So I did decide to pick it up at one point, and I was like, let me actually see what this is like. Let me actually see what this is like. I had done it a little bit before, like I should say, like when I first got it, I played it a little bit in handheld and stuff like that, but I wasn't really paying attention too much then. But like this time I put a bit of effort into, reviewing it in my head to an extent. And yeah, I think that screen's kind of crap. Like, honestly, the problem is like I back and forthed it between, like, I'd literally just been playing the Steam Deck, and I was like, you know what, I fancy some Mario Kart now. So I picked up the Switch 2, and it's like, I see what they're talking about. Like, it's not great. And admittedly, I'm like, it's a bit night and day going from what is arguably, well, apart from the ROG Ally, I suppose, like an almost best-in-class screen, OLED screen, to the Switch 2's screen. Yeah. It's like, you're gonna see differences. But the motion clarity, I hadn't noticed before until this conversation started. And it's like, yeah, no, it's a thing. I notice it now. I wish I didn't know to an extent.
You should not be watching those videos.
Yeah.
And now you know what it means, because it's like, now Nintendo, because for people like Zach, are fine, and people like you will end up buying the OLED Switch 2 when they release that.
I'm fine because I'm pretty happy using it as a docked machine, so it's
same.
It's not really a problem for me, but
but that's what I'm sure some people will be buying, that OLED Switch 2 in a few years.
Well, it just made me like multiple.
I mean, even the Steam Deck, like, the OLED came later, right?
It did, yeah. It didn't launch with that screen. Yeah,
it's the same. Yeah.
I've got no idea what the motion clarity on the original Steam Deck LCD is like. I've never seen one, but I don't know. And of course, like, obviously doing the back-to-back, it just highlighted things. It's like, yeah, this thing isn't as comfortable to hold as a Steam Deck. It's like it's definitely lighter, so that's nice. But I feel the bottom edges of that thin screen, right, when you're holding it in your hands and you're holding up, they do kind of dig a bit into the palm of your hand.
I think that was the problem I was saying. I was just having a problem with it actually just being too heavy. It's like,
you think it's too heavy?
That much is too much for me. I definitely wouldn't be able to handle a Steam Deck.
Right. Okay. That's fair. The Steam Deck is a bit of a beast.
Yeah.
So, are you having trouble compared to the original Switch because it's bigger and heavier, or specifically because it's heavier, not because it's bigger?
Bigger doesn't really make any difference to me, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm feeling. Maybe because it is a little bit heavier than the Switch one. The fact that there is no ergonomics.
Your wrist more, I guess.
And I saw that in smartphone world, like Apple are actually making lighter iPhones this time round. Apparently, I mean, not yet to be released, but they're making a thinner one.
Oh yeah, I've heard about the like it's stupid thin, isn't it? And it's like
it's ridiculously thin. Yeah,
and like
it's bending time.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That's what everyone's worried about. If you want a bendable phone, get a Galaxy Fold. It's like someone's designed that for you. It's fine.
The other design problem that I have with the Switch, just talking about handheld, is that like I know why it's like this, but I don't like how the L and R buttons go all the way around the curve because I'm constantly accidentally pushing that.
Oh really? I've never really noticed that.
Although actually, I think I'm just no, I think it is that curve that does it, but I've just been pushing them accidentally as well as the triggers, or like sometimes when I'm not even pushing the trigger, I'll accidentally like apply enough force while in my grip to like accidentally pull the side button. Yeah. And of course in Mario Kart those both do the same thing, so I'm accidentally like triggering power-ups or hopping.
Right, yeah. I see. But
I know why it's designed like that. It's so that it works better for the mouse mode when you're holding it sideways and that whole button is under the curve of your finger or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but that's not a good reason for that. Who cares about mouse mode? Until they come up with the one game that everyone loves that requires mouse mode.
Wow, that Metroid might be a compelling reason.
I don't think so. That doesn't count because that's just like trying to emulate normal first-person shooters on PC. That's not like an exclusive mouse mode thing that you could only do with mouse mode.
When you said that thing that everybody loves, were you referring to drag and drive?
No. Well, that's what I mean. There isn't one yet.
There isn't one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they come up with one that makes everyone want to use mouse mode, then maybe. It's like the IR sensor on the original Switch.
Right.
There was a compelling reason to have that. But luckily it didn't really get in the way.
I mean, it worked for the pulse detection on Ring Fit.
Sure.
That Drag and Drive isn't out yet, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think that's August, maybe.
Okay. I'm not going to get it.
Well, no.
No, that did not look good. So what have we been playing on the Switch too? I've been playing Zelda.
Yeah, I know. Because I happen to be online at the same time, for a change.
Yeah. You'll be glad to know, Zach, I've slightly advanced the story. Yay.
Hooray.
You really want that spoiler cast.
Yeah.
I'm still confused by, like, Zach, Rob, can you remind me, like, you've got like 200 hours on Tears of the Kingdom. Like, is that because...
Yeah, have I really? Bloody hell.
Probably,
was that paternity leave, or how was that possible?
That was before that, right?
No, it was... When Marzi was little, I was playing a bunch of Tears.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, my paternity leave was only a few weeks, right? Because it's not like you get a year off like Gnome took for maternity. But how
the hell did he get 200 hours of Tears in? I feel like we barely talked about
it.
Well,
because it's just the game that you were playing at the moment.
Yeah,
like,
I think I just
Yakuza games.
Well, sure,
guess,
but
same.
But even in a Yakuza game, I probably put about a quarter of the time into one of those as I have done.
Played like 6 of them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I wasn't playing a lot else. That was probably about the time I stopped playing Rocket League, in fairness.
Yes.
So that time came back to me in some way.
Well,
you have like a
not exactly the same amount of time, I guess.
And
because I think that's more than I've played total Breath of the Wild. I think mine's like 190 hours or something on the Breath of the Wild. Anyway, I've got a lot of catching up to do in Tears, but yes, I slightly advanced the story. I got the Minera or whatever thing. So
good.
Now you know where I am.
Oh, Minoru, right.
Yes,
Minoru. Yeah, you've done
You've seen the bit that I was not spoiling last time. I talked about the skip or whatever. The sequence breaking. The heart door and everything.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So now, what was the skip? You can describe it now.
Yeah. Well, that room where you have to go into the heart door to get the mask. Because that's on a sky island. You can get onto the bottom of the island and ascend into that room without having to activate the door.
Huh.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay.
So you can actually get to that
without
immediately.
Without needing any of the hearts. Yeah.
And those islands are there. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to do the thing that makes the thunderstorm go
That Rob
away.
never discovered, yes.
I don't know how you make the thunderstorm go away.
You can just go off on there. Rob did the whole thing without turning off the thunderstorm, so you can.
Nope.
Right. Okay.
No, I don't know how you do that still. That's the bit whenever we've been talking about here's the thing I missed that I don't know how to do, I should probably figure that out. It's like, I have absolutely no idea how you do that. I got around that entire area by using almost abusing Master Hand, right? And sorry, I do that every time. Ultra Hand and using the zone it pastes along the ground because it's like, I can see.
Oh, so that you could see.
Yeah.
Reduce zone of influence does it as well.
The lightning.
Yeah.
Right. Attack. Oh, interesting.
So I kind of fumbled my way.
I just
through
followed
that.
the quest from literally Kakariko Village, right? That tells you how to do it.
Starts.
Does it?
Anyway.
And it's not like... So if we're going to spoil this for Rob now, I guess.
No, don't. Please don't.
Well, you said it's Kakariko Village, which is the bit that he doesn't know.
That'll do. Leave it there. I want to figure out what on earth happens. Like, if it even can happen now.
Well, yeah, that'll be the slightly interesting thing in Rob's case. But also, it's not like what's her face in Lookout Landing doesn't kind of tell you that anyway.
Yeah.
If she did, I never got it.
Yeah.
Maybe I just never went back.
She's like, don't bother going to the regions of the heroes or whatever, the sages, because they've got those covered. Just go
to the
where
other
else?
villages. Yeah. But then again, you'd only just done Lurin, right, as well. Rebuilding the town with the trees and whatnot.
Oh, I still haven't done that.
Yeah, you were sort of in the midst of doing that.
I
started thinking about doing that.
Yeah, I've been saying, I think the last 50 hours maybe of gameplay in that thing was just like, I should probably do that, and then I kept finding other things to do.
You've done 200 hours and you haven't restored that village?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, that is right at the end of the map.
It's like, anyway.
I couldn't be asked to haul the trees. There was always something more interesting to do.
There's always something interesting. Although I am finding it quite a collectathon. Not that it wasn't always, but I don't know. I found a new item in the Sky Islands that I'd never called Sage's Will or something.
Oh,
and
right.
It's
You'd had one of those before?
Oh, wow.
No, it is find 4 of these.
Huh.
Yeah. Why? Are there loads of those?
Well, there's
12?
God, are there?
No, there's
How are
got
you
to be
supposed
at
to find those? It was just in a random
because
chest.
there's 4 for each.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's the first time I've seen one of those. Oh my god.
I mean, there's some of them in random chests, but there's also those glowing islands, the Sky Islands that glow like luminous stone. That's where the obvious ones are.
I don't know if I've ever noticed that.
So Rob hasn't even seen those ones somehow.
No.
It's just so many. Last time I was doing the farming the dragons for the stuff that you need for the
Right.
Not just for armor, but also just,
weapons.
And I do think the sequence for getting the Master Sword is cool and everything.
That's rad, yeah.
But I think the dragons are a little bit less magical than they were in
I
World.
could not be asked with doing any of that. I'll do it if one just happens to be nearby. But I'm not going to go out of my way to do the dragon farming. I thought that was tedious in breath as a concept. I'm like, no, not doing that.
And I got the ones for the what are they? The statues, the spirit statues.
Right.
Yeah. It's go 3 of them, and then they unlock the giant one that's in the canyon or whatever.
Yes, it's basically the shrine. The same as doing it in Breath of the Wild, right? You have to bring a scale, except it's not a scale this time or whatever.
It's a claw this time for some reason. Anyway, so I did that for all 3, and then the reward for that is you get a sword, which I guess if you break. You're not gonna. I guess it's one of the.
Oh, it's probably one of the repairables.
Yeah, like the light scale trident or any of those.
Where you can just bring some items and they will recreate it.
But I think they're not very good. It's not got very good stats, and I think if you want to recreate it, you have to get all the stuff from all the dragons again, all 3 dragons. Sure. Anyway,
just go put it in your home.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I did. I walked to my home and then was like, I've got no money. I have to convert my, opals or sapphires into money so that I can buy enough. And I couldn't just buy the weapon room for the house because the house didn't make sense and it had a big hole in the sides. I had to buy all the other rooms for the house just so I could put my weapon thing so I could put the stupid sword that I got from collecting all the dragon. Anyway.
I mean, you could just leave your house with a giant open veranda. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I could do, but it just doesn't feel right.
No, you're right. It doesn't. But
It doesn't. Yeah.
But you could.
Anyway. So I think, it's still good. There's a lot, as you know, there's a lot of shrines that are the blessings because you've done the puzzle already. A lot of those.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, but like combining
it's quite disappointing is the problem. Like, especially some of the ones where it's like, oh, the getting to the shrine was the thing, and then you're like, oh yeah, of course, this is just going to be a blessing, isn't it?
It's just a blessing. But then I didn't mind that in Breath because there weren't that many of them, but there's loads of them.
There's loads of them,
in Tears, and also especially the ones in the Skylands where you have to get the big crystal, to the right place, which are all like that. But combined with the trials or whatever, though, I don't mind the trials, but it means there aren't that many puzzle box shrines in the game, really.
No, not as many.
But at least the trials are better than combat challenges.
Yes, they're definitely better than the test of strength.
Yeah.
They were super annoying in Breath of the Wild. Because once you figured them out, they were just like, oh, I have to do this again. And also my problem with the original Breath of the Wild was, when I first came off the Great Plateau, I just went west and I kept going until I hit the sea, and then I went out into the sea and I found a shrine on an island, and it had a moderate test of strength, and it was literally impossible because there was no way for me to deal it enough damage with the weapons that I had when I just started. So whereas those trials, like, there's always a way to do them, even if you have few hearts. I'm sure you could do it because all the equipment is right there. Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely improvements. But yeah, I think I'm getting there with the shrines. So I've got like 140. I think there's.
Yeah, not too many more to go then.
Yeah, so I'm getting there, but I'm nowhere near you guys.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember. I think I still had a fair few shrines still to go. There's still plenty of Sky Islands I couldn't get to.
Except you could. You always could. We've said this every time we've talked about it.
But
just build a thing and fly there.
But that's the thing. I couldn't. That seems like such a large distance to try and cross with a thing. And some of the things just disappear after a period of time, and it's
you could
like,
go
how
from
much
the
time do you
ground
spend
up.
mining the zonite? And it's like, do I use this to build the things, or do I use this to get them more of the batteries? And it's like, how many different things do you have to refine down to get one battery cell or whatever?
Quite a bit.
You have to turn the zonite into the crystal things, and then turn the crystal things into
But then if you're in the
batteries.
depths to mine zonite anyway, you're going to find the chests that have the pre-crystallized crystals in.
Yeah.
Because that's most of what is with the rewards of the depths.
I think I never spent that much time down there. I expect that's the thing to do, I guess. I've still only got 3 batteries out of, 8?
I forget how many it even is.
Like a lot.
Because it's like, you fill up a certain number of full batteries, but then you can also double fill them after that. So
oh my god.
It's more than you think.
There's just so much, and it's just such a big game.
But you never need that much power. Even unless you're doing, really ridiculous, where you just built a thing that's 20 laser beams to just instantly kill Gleox or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, Gleox
drones.
Well. Yeah.
I managed to get over to the King Gleox to take a picture of it for some quest.
Oh, right.
But I was run away immediately. I'm not taking this thing on. Oh.
I'm at the point, I've got such a problem now where you're telling me things that I recognise, but I'm like, I have no idea if I did it.
You need to start getting back in.
You must have done tons if you spent that much time, right?
Oh, you don't. You're underestimating my capability to faff.
What were you faffing in the depths? Because I haven't.
I've done a
the
fair.
depths can definitely absorb time.
I've done a fair amount of depth faffing, but not that much. Not Zach levels.
Yeah, realistically, completing the depths is kind of entirely pointless.
Because I didn't go down to the end of you doing the weapon patterns from the and all that from the ghosts.
Well, that was completing the encyclopedia, right?
Right.
To get photos of
goodness.
all the different clean weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, have you done the compendium then, Zach?
Yeah.
Of course. And so you've actually basically 100%ed it effectively, right?
Except for Koroks and
Except
Sign Guy and whatever. And side quests. I never finished all the side quests.
Really?
Well, it's
How do you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I never did, because it's like, you're never going to be able to tell.
Right. But, yeah. Okay. Well, it's a good game. No surprise.
Oh no,
I still prefer Breath, I think, but, I mean, it's good that I've still got original Zelda content to be playing all this time later. And it looks, as we already said, looks... I know you don't notice that, but
I
on my TV,
noticed this one, because it's like I've just played
way better
the
on
Ultra.
Switch 2. Yeah. It's like double frame rate, double resolution. It's really nice.
Yeah,
And apparently HDR, I don't know what difference that makes. I can't really tell, but I've got HDR on my TV and it does go into HDR mode. So
I mean, if we wanted to do some more Switch 2 hazing, like, I don't think Switch 2's HDR implementation is very good.
yeah.
And I'm not alone on that. There's plenty of resources that, like, they obfuscate how to properly configure it from you. Like that step where you do the, like, you do it so the sun is right, and then, like, you then set the brightness level, but you've got no metric by which to judge the brightness on afterwards, and that actually does make an impact on how the colors scale and things like that. Like, it's not a great calibration tool. I've always thought, like, the reds in particular, I don't know. There's something weird about the HDR look on Switch 2. Like, and I can't, like, especially on my screen, like, it's just doesn't seem quite right compared to my Xbox calibration. But
I've got the
that
problem.
could just be
I
Mario
think
Kart, though, because Mario Kart is, like, crazy vibrant.
Yeah, the vibrant colours of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I played some additional Tears of the Kingdom as well.
Really?
This week. Well, it's because I randomly went back into it on the new save, obviously, but I decided that just for fun, I was going to do reverse shrine order on the starting island.
Huh.
Which is interesting because about a month after that game came out, there was a patch that actually changed, like, the geometry of the Great Sky Island to make that more possible. Like, it was always theoretically possible if you were, like, super hardcore or whatever and could find all the tricks, but they patched it to make the actual route possible quite easily, which is weird because it's like you wouldn't have thought of it necessarily.
Because the Great Plateau, you could do the many order, right?
And then obviously the Great Sky Island, they intentionally try and railroad you more into it.
It's quite obvious, right? The path you should take.
But then, you know, it was mainly the thing where when you come out of the Ultra Hand shrine, and then Rari's like, why don't you pin these two other shrines that you can see, and then you can go to those and do them? Some people are not going to perceive the railroading correctly and are going to go to the wrong one, and some people are just going to be deliberately contrarian and go to the other one first.
Right.
And at launch, that sucked because you couldn't, and it was like a horrible dead end that would just screw you for hours. But now they changed it in that patch to make it possible. It's kind of interesting because, well, I didn't even do Ultra Hand first. I was like, I'm going to do this full reverse order, do Ultra Hand last. So the first thing that happens is you go up to where the bottom of the ice river is, and there's a construct there with some fan rafts to go across the river.
Yeah.
But it's designed specifically for this situation because they're pre-assembled and they're in the water, so you don't need the Ultra Hand at all to be able to use them. And that construct there gives you the energy cell rather than the one after the fuse shrine, where you normally get it.
Oh, okay. So they've thought of that, basically.
Yeah, so they've allowed you to be able to use the Zonai devices.
Was that the patch then?
That was one of the things. But,
okay.
Oh, no, actually, I think that might have always been like that. It's just that once you got across the river, you then couldn't go anywhere else. There was, like, some stuff to explore down there, but not this whole route. Because the route then goes... You go up the other side of the ice river, and there's, like, a cliff path that goes behind the waterfalls, and that wasn't there before. And then when you get up to the bit where the cliffs turn into ice around the Ascend Shrine, coming from the bottom, there's a specific place where you can walk around the edge of the river, and there's just like a narrow strip of clear rock that you can climb up to get to the Ascend Shrine. Rather than the whole puzzle of the ice walls when you're coming from the other direction, where you have to like build a ladder made of logs or whatever to be able to climb up that bit to get to Ascend. So you do that, and then going backwards from there, it's all kind of pretty much normal until you get to the Fuse Shrine, where the other thing they changed was when you come out of the Fuse Shrine going backwards, when you can destroy, because now you can destroy the breakable walls, there's a breakable wall that leads to a tunnel that goes under the edge of that lake where you'd normally ride the raft across. Because normally because you have to build the raft with Ultra Hand, and the wind is blowing in that one direction, so it'll always take you across that lake.
Right, yeah, I'm remembering now. Yeah.
So then coming from the other direction, because you've done the Fuse Shrine first, there's a breakable wall that normally you wouldn't be able to get to even if you found this route from the other side. So you break that wall, and then you can walk under that lake the other direction to come up back on that other side and go back to the Ultra Hand Shrine.
Huh.
So it's quite weird. And also, like, incredibly inefficient, because you can't do half the Koroks you come across on the way from that side.
Right.
Because you're like, here's an Ultra Hand Korok, but I don't have Ultra Hand. Because I've gone from the other direction. So yeah.
So you couldn't even pick him up.
Yeah, you can't manipulate the blocks or whatever. But yeah, it's possible to do it that way around, if you want to. If you're fancy. And it's also, like... It also means because you get to the mining cave where the Zonite bits are, because you get to that before you get to the Fuse Shrine, you also can't mine any of that. Because you can't make a rock hammer to be able to break things. Although technically you can, because I experimented with this just to see how incredibly annoying it would be. But like, if you pick up a rock and throw it at an ore vein, it does damage it. You just have to hit it like 10 times. So you have to just like stand there, pick up this rock, chug at it, then pick it up again, and then chug at it, and just do that 10 times per vein, and then they'll break.
Crikey. Oh, man.
Or I guess you do technically have bomb flowers at that point, because you've been backwards through the light cave. So you have a few of them that you could use, I guess, if you wanted. But yes, that was quite silly. But possible. Not actual sequence break, now it's intentional sequence break. Now it's Nintendo actually allow you to do this. You don't have to be super hardcore to find a dodgy ass way to scale those ice cliffs or whatever, they just give you a path. And that was Zelda.
Zelda. What else have you been playing, Zach?
I've also, on the Switch, played a shit ton more Mario Kart, because I've initiated the project of playing and rating every single route.
Of what?
Which is now in a Google Doc in case you guys want to look at it again.
As in the routes between the courses?
Yes, every possible route there is.
Oh my
Rating
gosh,
them for like...
How cool
what?
they are.
You
How cool they are.
Oh, you should
Okay.
so be videoing this.
It would take so fucking long.
Do a nice edit.
Oh, also, we need a way to capture on a Switch.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
I feel like this is a problem that we need to solve at some point. We've been doing this long enough that I think we can get some capture equipment. We can look into... Is it really prohibitively expensive?
No, it's not.
No,
It's
okay.
like 100 odd something.
Okay.
But to get you'd need like an Elgato capture device,
Yeah.
external device. It's
Okay. Let's look into that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing. I've just been playing all the different routes and rating them on I've been rating them on a 5-star scale with a plus, minus, or neutral for the ending, because I'm trying not to take the ending into account on like the rating of the route. But then the ending gets its own little plus or minus depending on whether it's, well, it's like you get a plus if it's, you know, the lap at the end is reverse, or it's one of the alternate versions like Shy Guys are.
sure.
And you get a minus if it's Koopa Trooper Beach, or if it's like one of the other bullshit ones, like when you have the endings at Peach Stadium where it just goes around a rectangle and doesn't actually go into the course.
Doesn't go on the track, yeah.
And then the 5-star rating, it's just like, that mainly is like, well, you get a lot of, in my mind, you get a lot of bonus points for being long. Like, if the route is longer than average, that normally gets it to 4 or 5, in my mind. Because it's just like, you just want more time to be able to, like, you know, race against each other on these routes. Obviously, you get less, you're drifting down into the 4s if there's too much that's just straight.
Yep.
And then 3 and 2 is just like, here's the average ones. And then 1 is like, these are either extremely short or extremely straight.
So where does the extraordinarily long bridge fit on this scale? Because
that's got to be a...
Is it like, has that got to be like middle of the road? Because
No.
it's technically a straight, but there's a fair amount going on that bridge.
Well, not really though. There's like boost pads. Like,
Yeah.
You're not really doing much.
No, I guess not. I suppose it depends if you're going up the sides.
You mean if you're being inefficient?
Yeah, which is obviously
That's
not
how you
quick.
win a race.
Yeah, it's obviously not fast.
No, I think I might. I haven't got to any of the routes that go over the bridge yet because I'm going from the top of the map to the bottom.
Okay.
And I'm about 2/3 of it through. And I'm just getting to that bit. But like
You're setting these up in versus mode, like
yeah, get to the AI.
yeah.
And I'm also, to be as maximally scientific as possible, I'm only using Mario and the standard cart.
Right.
So it's like this is the most default possible setup. But yeah, I haven't got to rating any of the bridge routes yet, and I suspect they're probably going to. I don't know if any of those are going. Well, they might get over. They might get into twos, judging by like the bits at either end of the bridge.
It's got like the 1 stars for me have got to be the water routes.
Yes,
Right, because they are almost always just a straight line and very little to do.
yes. A lot of the water routes have indeed been getting one. There are a couple of slightly interesting water routes that are like full along river routes.
Yeah, those are okay.
Yeah,
They're okay.
yeah. Probably a 3
Probably a 3.
if
Yeah.
it's long enough. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've got a little note column for anything that's interesting. Like I've been noting down all the tracks that have like the big drivable vehicles on, like the trucks and the helicopter,
Right. Yeah.
because those are pretty rare. And there's also I found a couple of things that are just like, wow, I didn't even know that existed. Well, I guess I knew that it existed in the open world, but I didn't know they'd ever used it in one of the races. Like, there's one route, I forget where from to, I think it's to Mario Bros circuit, because it's in the deserty area, but there's one route where there's a tornado where you can just drive into it and it puts you into flight mode.
Huh.
And they use that in the open world as like a P-switch, but I didn't know they'd actually also used it in a race. Like, it's part of the route. You can drive along the normal road, or you can drive into the tornado and go into flight mode.
And fly over it. Huh.
Which is kind of cool. And I also weirdly discovered that there's one route that appears in a Knockout Tour version, like it's as part of a Knockout Tour route, but the route between these two places is not the same route that you play in if you're just playing that individual part.
Oh.
Like, it's actually specific to the Knockout Tour version.
Huh. Interesting.
Which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting all these routes to be like the individual parts.
What do you mean,
of
like
the
just in
Knockout
terms
Tours.
of like the stuff that's on them, or like the actual roads you drive?
Well, yeah, it's actually a different route because it's from Dandelion Depths to Cheap Cheap Falls, which in the Knockout Tour route is that bit where you basically drive off road and cut the S-bendy bit that goes down the hill. Like, you do a bunch of jumps,
Right. Yes. Yeah.
so you're skipping all that backwards and forwards.
Uh-huh.
But if you play that route as an individual route, it's one of the river routes that goes down the river between those two places. So it's not
Oh,
even the
interesting.
same at all.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, that's been a thing to see. Like, there are actually even more, technically there's even more content than you would think, because the Knockout Tours are actually, in some cases, minorly specifically designed.
Yeah, I think that was clear, right? But like, yeah, perhaps not to the extent you're.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are the
there's like,
same
yeah,
as
because
the individual cut-up routes.
it's like, well, and the Knockout Tours have like specific placement of extra objects,
Yes.
I guess, and things happening along the route.
Yeah.
Man, I find trying to do the Knockout Tours in single player really annoying. Because
What, for 3 stars?
well, not even just just winning them.
Right.
Like, there's a bunch in 150. Like, there's a bunch of them where, like, there's one that ends in Crown City, right? And you do the classic above the skyscrapers.
Right, yeah.
route.
That bit of that
It's
ladder.
like I'm usually winning every single checkpoint on that thing until I get to Crown City, and then I get rubber banded or exploded so hard. Like,
It's a lot of jumps. That's the danger of that one. Like, you could easily get totally boned.
but even when I don't bone them up driving wise,
Well, I mean,
like
I meant get
just
boned by falling into a hole by getting hit.
yeah, oh well, yeah, sure. Normally, it just happens on that last stretch of like the
straight
highway,
line.
the straight line in the
Right.
middle of the city. I just suddenly get attacked by everything, and it's like, yep, you've been winning this entire race. Have a third, and it's like that's happened to me every single time I've attempted that one, and it's like, god damn it.
Do you think it would help to use the flight to get up on the side rails instead of getting onto the road?
That's what I did the last 2 times. Didn't help. Didn't help.
I mean, obviously that won't help against blue shells.
No,
It might help against
blue
all the
shells
other
haven't even
spam.
been the problem in that section. Just enemies gunning for me. Okay, lightning balls me a few times, but it's just like there's no. I mean, it's Mario Kart, but like it's just frustrating when it's like I just want to get this checked off the single player list, and it's like I can't because Mario Kart. Ah.
I'll have to play on the co-op on your account, and I'll just.
No.
I mean, we kind of already did that the first time we played in co-op, where I was like, "Does this count for Rob?" Oh, it does.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't care that much, but I still haven't unlocked Mirror. That's the thing.
Oh, sure.
Like, I don't know how to unlock Mirror still,
And I don't technically know how to unlock Mirror, even though I've done it.
I went back and did I just did another because I hadn't done the 150 on Rainbow Road yet,
Right.
So I went back and did that and won it pretty easily, and then it was just
didn't trigger the sequence. So
didn't trigger.
presumably you haven't done enough of whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would bet presumably you do have to do at least finish all the knockout tours maybe
Probably.
first.
Yeah, probably. So I finished them all. I just haven't won them all.
Well, that's why I meant. When I said maybe first, I meant maybe first place, not maybe beforehand.
right, I see.
And it's given me, and playing all this extra Mario Kart has given me an opportunity to hear even more of the awesome music.
Yeah, it's quality stuff.
Maybe the best thing about the game.
Yeah.
Probably, actually. Yeah.
Best audio thing award.
I mean,
2025.
I mean, as long as you're kind of into your jazz funk, I suppose.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Or
But that's
Scar.
the thing is, like, it gets
Scar,
you into it,
yeah.
right? There's a lot of articles at the moment about the Tony Hawk soundtrack because 3+4 has just come out, and it's
Right.
yeah, those soundtracks did get me into a whole genre that I maybe wasn't so into.
They were pretty influential. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, Zach, you would be listening to that kind of ska punk stuff if it wasn't for Tony Hawk's.
yeah, I get. Well, technically, I wouldn't be listening to any music if it wasn't for
Yeah,
you guys
that's
plus
true.
video games.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it works.
I mean, you found Dwayne and Brando on your own.
Via YouTube, I guess, sure. And that's still technically even video games.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I did on the Switch. But I've been having as I mentioned last time, all these goddamn games updated. So it's like, oh no, how many of these games am I going to get through? So I did eventually go back to Shapes 2 for its update.
Right. Yeah. Is that got a new name now? Is it Shapes Factory?
It's weird because it's on the logo or whatever, or the Steam store billboard thing that they have. It's labeled Shapes 2 Factory, but they just call it Shapes 2.
Right.
And I'm not sure that factory thing has ever been counted in anywhere. And also at some point they almost just started calling it Shapes, forgetting it's 2.
Right. Yeah.
It's just don't worry about Shapes 1. That's a different thing. But yeah, I went back into that for their next update, and I mean, it's not a particularly substantial update, I guess. There's some changes to how trains work. The main thing is that they've made it so that you could always build the belts on the 3 levels where you could go up or down or whatever, and you could build all the machines on the 3 levels. But now they've upgraded it so that now you can build the entire platforms on 3 levels. So the space scale layer also has 3 layers now.
Oh. Huh.
And the space belts and everything are updated as well to allow you to do that as well. So
Sort of makes sense.
now
Yeah.
you can build even more ridiculously stacked up factories. And they also changed the space belts so that they basically have 4 times the capacity. So it gives you more incentive to actually do that, where you're just you have one belt that then splits into the whole 3 layers of whatever, because it can transport 4 times as much stuff, rather than having to manage dodgily getting 4 belts into the same space or whatever.
I see.
And then the trains are similar. They've been the individual carriages on the trains don't necessarily carry as much, but now with the better station controls, so you can make them wait for full loads or whatever, and some slight changes to how they pathfind and that kind of stuff. It's like now you can more reliably just build more and bigger trains and just have it function correctly. I'm not sure when they changed it, because like one of the things that I always found annoying about the trains, which has now been patched, and I don't know when, because I don't think I ever saw the patch note for it, but like it used to be that when you had a train that junctioned onto a different line, so like if it was a T junction and the train merged in, because of the way trains in their pathfinding, when they're travelling on the top of the rail, they follow a route that is defined by a little coloured line that goes along the rail, and it like follows junctions, and you can, if there is a junction where it branches, you can set which one it wants to go down. But when trains get to the end of the line in that game, they go onto the bottom of the rail and then drive back the other way. So it's not like you build a second line that's parallel to going the other direction or anything. It just goes onto the bottom of the rail and drives back.
Assuming they're not jumping into the vortex?
Assuming they're not going directly into the vortex, yes.
Yeah.
But previously, that didn't work. Like, when they went onto the bottom of the rail, they didn't follow the junctions back the way they came. They just went straight on or whatever. But now they've changed it so they do follow it. Because, like, I think I wrote a forum post about that. Like, why does this not work like this? Or a bug report. I might have put it as a bug report, where it's like, why doesn't it work like this? And then the developers were like, it just doesn't work like that. That's just not how our game works. But now apparently it does. So,
okay.
So they decided it was going to work like that. Now they do follow the proper junctions on the way back as on the way forwards. So that's nice. Makes more sense to me, at least.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can't see a use case for it working the other way, which is why I called it a bug originally. Because it's like, surely that doesn't, there's no way to control that, no reason for you to do that. So surely it must be a bug.
I mean, did it matter before?
Well, the trouble was that if you had a T-junction where the trains merged inwards that way, when they came out, they would go straight across instead of going back. So if the station or whatever was at the end of the T-junction, the side route, the trains would never be able to path back to it.
Oh. Right. Problem.
Yeah. So it just didn't work. You could actually make a train line like that originally.
I see.
So yeah,
that bit confusing, I suppose, if you just tried it and they were like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's why I said it was a bug.
Yeah.
And even though it apparently wasn't, it's now been fixed anyway.
Sweet.
And then similarly to the previous discussion I had about how every game is patching at the moment and there's too many, I've somehow, even despite me complaining about that, I've managed to get myself in the opposite situation where I'm now also waiting for a patch. Because like, I really want to play Vintage Story again, but they're right on the verge of releasing a patch. So now I'm just like, I really want to play this, but I can't start playing it now because there's going to be a patch.
Yeah.
And it's even worse in that case because this patch specifically is going to modify world generation. So like, if I wanted to start a new game, I couldn't even do that because when the patch happens, it will change how the world generates and then that will bugger everything up.
Yeah. There's a bit of me that's thinking that about Fast Fusion at the moment because it's like, there's going to be at least 3 more tracks released for that thing because there's a convenient hole in the UI. Like, it's not lined up right. It's like, it's going to come.
But just playing 3 tracks by itself wouldn't be enough content at once. So
Maybe
you want
not,
to wait for the big patch.
What's the fact that I would have to go back and do it at slow speed?
Right.
And then, like, play it again and so do I want to keep progressing?
Oh, you don't want to get used to fast speed and then have to go back to slow speed.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bit of that. They did patch it this week, though. They added photo mode.
No, well, classic.
And fixed a couple of bugs.
How does that manage its dynamic resolution shit?
I wonder. I haven't tried it. Like, I wonder if it just, like, you click the shutter and it doesn't.
Renders it out fully or whatever.
Yeah, it does the Forza technique where it goes, no, we're going to use, like, high-quality renders for a second. Just give us a moment. I actually noticed, like, I'm beginning to notice more and more little graphical flaws in that game. Like, because it's one of the games that Badger wrenches the controller out of my hand for to have a go at.
Yeah.
The thing is, that game doesn't look very good stationary.
Sure.
Like, okay, it looks good in the sense that the DLSS like resolves nicely when you're not moving.
Right.
So it looks pretty nice, like in that respect. But like certain effects actually don't work particularly well. Like especially the shadow under your car. It doesn't render in full, but it's normally hidden by the motion blur at speed. So you don't see that. But like see there's this like awkward cutout of where the shadow isn't rendering for some reason. It's yeah, it looks a bit odd, but fortunately that's not normally a problem, right, during gameplay. So it's, I assume, an intentional choice.
Speaking of weird graphical things, going back to Mario Kart for a minute, another thing that I noticed that's, I don't exactly know why they're doing this, and like whether it is a rendering saving somehow, or whether it's just a weird effect they chose to do. But if you look, when the scoreboard comes up and it shows you the scores and like it's on those little transparent backgrounds, if you actually look at that transparent background, when you're looking through the transparency, it makes everything pixelated. Like the resolution is lower behind that transparency for some reason.
So they're like using a shader to do the transparency, like, and it's like lower rate or something.
I mean, maybe.
Like they're using a VRS, but in a weird way.
Like, it's just something that I noticed when I was just sitting at a results screen for a while as I was writing notes or whatever, and I looked at it. It's like, that's weird.
I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, because personal bugbear of mine in modern games, especially Nintendo games or stuff like that, is like games don't really do much alpha anymore, right? They tend, like, I mean, there's a lot of alpha going on,
right.
But like for like major like fade outs of things, they tend to use some sort of diver pattern, right? Things just don't fade in anymore. They use like even in like you can see it in the Bonanza footage, right? Like
the Nintendo games do it a lot because that's just whatever their engine is, I guess.
I mean, it's obviously more it's more performant to do a diver than it is an alpha blend. That's definitely true, but it's like, oh my god, we've been doing alpha blends since PS2 era, and like to a lesser extent PS1 era, and it's like, are these really a problem for like, especially like really like in your face fade outs of things? It just strikes me as slightly odd because even as good as Clair Obscure looks, like even when the characters in your party don't always follow where your main guy is going, like they'll teleport to where you are, right? Sometimes, and sometimes they do it right in front of you. But even they dither in. It doesn't look like an alpha effect or anything like that. It's like,
what engine is that?
I think it's Unreal 4, but I've been leaning towards it might be Unreal 5 after all, because it has some in the area I'm in the game now, it looks like it's doing some, you remember I talked about in Avowed, where if you turn down the global illumination setting, you can get some of the lighting starts to look a bit weird in spots. I'm getting that effect. Right, so I'm guessing there's this global illumination going on, and I don't know if Unreal 4 did that particularly. Anyway, it's those sorts of things. That's my current like bugbear in modern graphics. I've got quite a few nitpicks of modern graphics, to be honest. It's like it's in some way like. In some ways, I think some of the techniques we're using now do just make things worse. It's like, I'm not super into DLSS. I know why it exists, but like when the artifacts happen, I think they're pretty ugly.
Well, I mean, that's like when I was talking about the first time playing Derg on my new machine and it still had the temporal anti-aliasing or whatever, and it's just like, I just don't like the look of that. At least that's something I can turn off. And the same for Satisfactory as well, because that used to do that a lot with objects moving along
the trails. Yeah. TAA is like, it's... Again, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with TA, because there are definitely some use cases where it looks phenomenal, but then there are other moments... Again, Clair Obscure kind of suffers from this a fair bit, actually. Like, every now and then there's certain scenes which go real traily of surfaces on... the disocclusion fizzle, I guess, is the Digital Foundry thing, as stuff comes into view after being obscured by something else. Like, it takes a while for that to resolve, and it looks a bit ropey.
But it's like, at least that was something you could still turn off, whereas these other things, like the diver or whatever, that's just how things work now.
Yeah, and I don't like it. Like,
you can't just have a toggle where it's like switch this between diver or proper alpha.
Can't we just do a proper alpha? Is it really that much of a performance problem? I just don't understand. Like,
I mean, presumably, Yeah.
I mean, as resolutions get higher, obviously the performance problem of doing an alpha blend gets worse, right? But then that's true of absolutely everything you're doing.
Sure, one less thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It really bothers me.
What else have you been playing, including Clair Obscuro, particularly?
Well, yeah, let's as soon as I mention that, let's talk about that. I've been playing a bunch of Clair Obscuro. I'm over 30 hours now into it, which is less than I thought, actually. I thought that number...
Well, implying that you're near the end?
Well...
Or you don't think you've been spending as long?
I thought I'd been spending longer, but I guess my time has been more... Of the last couple of weeks has been more spotty, shall we say. Like, my ability to have a long session at something has been harder. Not because of scheduling, just because of life. Just because of what things are like at home
that
now.
Kind of is scheduling in some ways.
Well, to an extent, yeah. Go to sleep, Marzi. No. But, yeah, so I've not been playing as much as I like. But, like, I think, yeah, like, as far as the map looks, I think I'm further through it than it suggests, but there's going to be a bunch of places I think I'm going to need to come back to as I get, I've talked before about how Esquier, this big sort of parachute-panted weird creature who is supposedly the most powerful creature in the planet, but is also a pacifist, conveniently, seemingly. When he eventually gets the ability to fly and go underwater, I'm going to have a whole bunch of other stuff to explore, right? I'm going to have to go back to previous areas. Some of the areas at the start of the map, which were deemed as dangerous, I made the trek back down the map to go and have a look at them, thinking, yeah, I could probably have a go at those now. And I've noticed some of those have stopped being tagged as dangerous. So I must be leveling up to the point where I could probably go back and start doing some of these earlier challenges.
Right. But if it's that inconvenient, does that not imply there's going to be a fast travel in the future?
Well, the thing I thought was going to be a fast travel turned out not to be.
Great.
I got an ability to do something to a particular style of rock that was littered about the place, and I thought, oh, maybe these are going to be fast travel points. Nope. I can just destroy those rocks now, and there might be stuff in them. So yeah, well, it kind of implies that maybe like I shouldn't be backtracking as much as I am. Like maybe just plow through the story for a bit longer until I get like
the problem with that
until I get the rocks to fly or whatever, and then like I can go to these, because there's definitely some places I can see that I can't get to because I'm going to need flight.
Sure.
And it's
but the problem is that like the fact that it's like they're becoming untagged as dangerous implies that you should be going back.
Yeah.
Even though it's inconvenient.
It's pretty inconvenient, yeah, because I've got to travel the whole map to get there.
Because otherwise, surely you're going to be super over-leveled when you eventually come back.
Maybe, yeah. Because I don't... at the moment, the story content I'm doing does feel easier than the side content I'm stumbling upon. The area I'm in at the moment, particularly so, because I can cheese it quite. I've got a cheese tactic for it.
Cheese is not balanced.
No. Well, I don't know if it could be classed as a cheese tactic, but I could spec in a certain way that means I can kill most of the ambient creatures before they get a chance to play their turn. So I could just be, it's just like my guys step up to the plate, go blam, 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 exploit their weaknesses, jobs are good, and let's move on. Nice and easy.
I mean, that's not necessarily cheese.
No, it's properly specking, I guess, to the area. It's like it's I don't know how you solve this problem in RPGs, right? Because it's kind of cool that you go into an area sometimes and be like, all right, what are we coming up against this time? I have no idea. And then you fight them, or you go up against a boss fight or something. Then they've got you find a special enemy somewhere, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff that you're currently not equipped to deal with, or you need a different party to properly deal with, or stuff like that. And I'm like, and that's kind of annoying, right? Because you get into a fight and then it's like, I can't possibly win this. So you've got to die.
Well, sometimes, if it's that bad, yes.
Yeah, so you've got to die. And then, admittedly, Clair Obscuro is really good at, like, you don't have to it doesn't take you back to the last save point or something you went back. It literally does go back at the last kind of important thing you did. Like, it's auto-saving a lot.
Right.
So it's pretty generous in that front. So if you die, it's not too much of a big deal. But I don't know how. Do you know what I mean? Because now I've seen the fight, it's like, oh, okay, now I know I could spec against that. Like, but it's a somewhat annoying process to have to go through a failure because I don't know what I'm getting into.
I feel like the solution is unfortunately Final Fantasy 13, where you have like toggles where you
Switch
can
on the
change your
fly.
state depending on what's in the battle.
But then even that, you didn't let you.
Well, no, I'm not saying exactly Final Fantasy 13, but
I think FFX had a fairly decent. Like, you could actually you could spend a turn to change your weapon that you were using, or something like that.
Does that make sense?
Which would help in some of these circumstances. Like, for an example, like one of the flying enemies in Clair Obscur are very hard to hit with most attacks. They dodge almost everything. So the thing you fall back on is the free aim shot. But generally, your free aim shot isn't super powerful, so they're only really going to be useful if you can, like, if the weapon you are currently using is elementally strong against the enemy, right? But so if you get into an area where there's a bunch of flying things, for instance, and it's like, oh god, this is either going to take forever, or I should just die and come back in specking for something that's going to be good against these enemies. But you've got to figure that out, right? You've still got to figure out what element is going to be effective against them. And it's like, so, you know, I think these are pretty standard RPG problems, but it just led me down that thought process of like, how do you legitimately solve this one? And I guess the answer is have the tools mid-fight to respec, I guess. Maybe at some cost.
Well,
but
ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want it to just be, you could just open the menu and then just do it whenever.
Yeah, sure. Change your strategy on the fly. Change the skills you have. I went into a fight, for instance, that required you needed to you needed to build up their break bar really to be effective, and then, but unlike like Final Fantasy 13, right, where it had a stagger bar, right, and that was one of its big mechanics, and then when you filled that, the enemy would automatically stagger. That's not a thing here. In Clair Obscur, your break bar can be filled, but you need to use a skill that can break.
Right.
So when the bar is big enough, you can use a skill that... I realized I went into a fight and I needed to break this guy, and I didn't have any break skills. I'd spec'd everyone so they didn't... I'd spec'd my party so I didn't have a single break skill in the mix, and it's like, oh, that's a mistake. I'm boned here. And admittedly, that's on me. Now I make sure every character has at least one break spell in their or skill in their arsenal. So just so I'm never stuck in that scenario. But yeah, it would have been nice to be able to like skill swap at that point and be like, oh, can I just spend a turn putting a break skill on? I'm happy not using it right now. I just need to be able to waste a turn to swap like this out.
A single-use item that can cause break, where you have a big pile of them because you've never used them. It's just like, oh shit, this one time.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I guess I didn't talk about that before. Like, Clair Obscur doesn't really have items.
Right.
You have these three. There's only three things you can use in a fight, and those are the tints. And there's one for healing. There's one for building up your ability points or action points. I don't know what the A actually stands for. They're just called AP. And another one for building up, for reviving, for Phoenix Down, so to speak. And those are a limited pool, but they are rechargeable when you visit rest flags,
right,
and stuff like that. But those are the only in-fight items you can actually use. You can't just like pick up weird stuff like you can in Final Fantasy and go, oh, I wonder what happens if I throw this at him. So I guess in that respect, the possibility space is a lot smaller. But yeah, that would be kind of nice. It's like, oh, you're carrying 99 grenades or whatever.
Classic.
Like, if I throw that at this guy, will it break them? That would be kind of nice. Get you out of a pickle. Or even just like I think FFX also had a party swap system, so you could actually just swap out a guy mid-fight.
They've had that since like 10 or whatever, right?
Did 10 have it? I don't think 12 had it.
Because 10 had...
Oh, no, that's FFX, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it had a
Yeah.
separate menu you could swap out.
Swap straight in.
I don't think 12 let you do it. I think once you were in a fight, you were locked in.
Yeah, I guess. I remember 12. I never played 12, obviously, but I also don't really remember it that well.
But yeah, it was the sort of the real-time
Yes.
Gambit system.
Once they
one.
start to do that.
Yeah. I don't think 13 had party swap. You had to pre-plan your paradigms, yo.
Yep. The paradigms were the party swap, essentially.
Paradigm shit. I'm still really loving that game. I really want to know what's going on in the story because it's not answering questions. It's raising more.
Is that
as
becoming
I go.
a risk at this point? Where it's like you might not actually get any answers.
No, I think I will. Partially because I wouldn't say I've been spoilt, but Facebook has cottoned on to the fact I'm playing this game somehow. And I don't know how, because it's not like I've searched for anything.
Has happened somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know how. So I'm getting one of the suggested things that is from a Claire Obscure group or something. So
Right.
there's people theories or just memes and stuff like that. So there's a couple of concepts I wouldn't say I'm spoiled. I don't fully understand, but I know there are answers to things. I just don't know what they are, right? And that's cool. I'm actually pretty excited to find out what happens here. Because the setting is so weird. What's happening is so weird. I can't trust a bunch of the characters, which is kind of neat. There's weird. The way people speak, the way things are happening, it just makes you suspicious the entire time of something's not right here, something's not right there. When these guys talk, they're clearly talking about something else. Stuff like that. It's cool. And I really hope it starts playing its hand pretty soon. Not just a dump at the end of the game. I really hope there's a nice 2/3 twist or something. I really like this game. Yeah, it's a little bit simplified compared to turn-based RPGs, I guess, but I like that it's got more active elements. If I had a nitpick, right?
A nitpick?
Okay, sure, it's me. I know what you're talking about. But if I had one thing about I do like I mentioned before, I do like the fact that the combat is pretty involved with its 4 dodge types.
Right.
I like that. It gives you a choice, and it's but it's a real-time choice at moments as well. It's I like that. I kind of wish that when you were attacking, it had a similar presentation that wasn't so I would be pushing buttons on the hits, right? As opposed to how it actually presents it is which is with a leading QuickTime event, and those QuickTime events don't seem particularly timed to they have their own timing. Don't get me wrong, but they don't feel like they're timed to what your character is doing particularly,
right?
Compared to the dodging. And it's it's not like Paper Mario's nice points or whatever, which, you pushed at a certain time with the actions that were happening.
Yeah, because Paper Mario had it both ways, and they were the same both ways.
Pretty much.
On the hit,
Yeah.
either attack on attack or defend on defend.
Or weren't some of the nice ones at the peak of jump arcs? Or
No, those were
stuff
stylish.
Stylish
Were the ones that
yes.
were off-timed to the hit.
Right, yes, that's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
But still rhythmic, obviously, based on the animation.
Yeah, I wish Claire Obscure had a bit of that rather than the giant QuickTime pop-ups. Because the giant QuickTime pop-ups aren't always... They're not they're on a spread of buttons either. It's always A.
Oh.
So it's what... Can I have something else? I think I even like Lost Odysseys. I think that had a hold and release system. I'm trying to remember it exactly. It's when you were charging in for an attack, you held the trigger down and a circle came in. You released when it matched the targeting cursor.
Right.
So there was. But then it sort of did. If you got that right, I think it sort of slashed near the hit, and that felt a little bit better than what's going on here. It's yeah, I don't know. This game does an awful lot right, but I think that could have been done that little bit better. Just a little bit. And maybe give me some English lip syncing if you do a sequel. That is sometimes very distracting.
Is it French?
I don't know.
Or it must be, right?
I bet it is French.
Can you change the language mid-game? Can you actually just switch
I think you have to go to the main menu.
Well,
Can you
that's why I
have
meant by
French with
mid-game. I
English
meant like not a new save
subtitles?
file.
Yeah, I think you can change that.
I still have my Zelda set to Japanese with English subtitles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing that in English all the way. Anyway, that's mostly what I've been playing. Other than Mario Kart, which I don't think I have much more to say on really this time around. Mario Kart is Mario Kart. It is exactly what that game is. Give me some patches.
Get ready for Donkey Kong.
Yeah, get ready for Donkey Kong. More Pauline costumes.
Oh, more Donkey Kong costumes before.
Both will do.
They both only have one, so
Let's add Diddy Kong.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Let's add the Kongs.
Now that we know he's definitely in that game. Although in what capacity we still don't know, obviously. I guess.
Let's begin the conquest of Mario Kart. The other thing I've been playing is F-Zero X.
Naturally.
Is this in preparation for a video?
Kinda, yeah. But I kind of just got into it. I could probably have just hacked the thing to get, because what we want to do a video on it, but we want to have the X Cup ready to go, right? The random track generator.
Yeah, important.
It's kind of unique, and it's not unique, I suppose, but it's
not any longer.
It's
anyway.
unique to the F-Zero series.
Unique within the F-Zero series.
Yeah. I don't think any of the other F-Zeros have ever had that. Maybe there might have been something on... I was about to say, there might have been something on the DD version of F-Zero, but that was F-Zero X. Whoops. Yeah, I've just been playing a bunch of that. It's I think that's the good thing about all of the F-Zero games, is that all of them are different beasts in some way or another. It's like, yeah, it's more similar to F-Zero GX than any of the other F-Zero games, in that it's 3D for one thing. But it's kind of different in the way that it's F-Zero X is kind of like an F-Zero pure in some ways. Like, it's quite simplified, it's quite bare bones, but in many ways that's what makes it nice. The tracks aren't very long, so you blast through them in like a minute and a half sometimes, and that's quite nice that the racing is short and fast. It's a little less, because it makes it a little less problematic if you crash, right? It's still got that F-Zero structure of you die, you lose a life, you do the thing again. And so the fact that the races are shorter makes that slightly less galling if you've been doing an epic race and then you die on the last turn. And it's like, God damn it. Slightly less of a problem. It's just a fun time. It stands up even now. I'm playing it in the same way that we played Ocarina of Time, video series available at happysalad.net and on the YouTube channel for Happy Salad, in that I'm running it in the most N64 accurate way I can. No graphics upscaling or anything like that. Give me those crunchy ass pixels.
I was really impressed by whatever that shader was for.
Angry Lion, I think it was is the name of the graphics renderer.
Well, good.
Yeah,
how I remember.
It's pretty accurate. Yeah, so I've been doing that here as well. Yeah, the game holds up pretty well. Like it's still a good time. The thing I'm not as good as I used to be, and one of the things I don't quite remember being as much of a pain in the arse as it is playing it on the Steam Deck, as I have been, is like when losing grip feels way easier than it did when I was playing it on the N64. I don't know, like craft that I thought I had a handle on. I've been going back to my old... There's like 3 that I like, basically, that I always go back... Oh, 4, I suppose. 4 of the ships I always go back to. And I thought... Mainly because they have pretty good grip stats and that they don't drift half the time, because drifting is a real pain in the arse. Like, you don't really want to be doing it. But I found that, but it's quite a fine line, and I don't know that I've remembered how to get a handle on how not to drift it quite so easy. I think there's a few videos out there that it's like a lot of that is to do with actually the how the N64 controller felt. Like in that it's the sensitivity of the stick was such that at the midpoint, just when you're not moving it very much, the sort of the long pole that was the N64 stick moves in such a way that you actually have finer control at that area, supposedly. And it's and I guess playing this, I would kind of believe that, because you do need a delicate touch in order to, you need to be using the analog in order to not be drifting all the time. Or to not be going into slides where you don't want them to, especially when you're traveling at ridiculous speeds, because the faster you go, the more likely your ship is just going to lose grip on a turn. And I don't know that I've got got a handle for that just yet. Going back to it after all these years.
And could you manage that with some emulated dead zone /
Possibly.
scaling or something?
Yeah, there might be a way to do that. I don't know if there's I don't know how through Steam input I could manage linearity or anything like that, but it'd still be a bit of a pain, because don't forget this is no, it's probably solvable actually. I was just trying to think, because the way I run emulated games on the Steam Deck, I go through EmuDeck, and that runs Emulation Station. So when you're firing things up, Steam is considering it you're playing Emulation Station, right? So that makes it slightly annoying if you need to have
the controls on the Steam layer.
Yeah, on a per game basis. However, I just realized there is a solution to that, because EmuDeck has the ability to just make a non-Steam card for games. So I could make an F-Zero X card.
Right.
So Steam treats that as
the controller set up attached to that.
Exactly, yeah. So Steam treats that as the game. So I could go deep on that and see if I could figure that out. Or, I could probably just be playing this on PC with an N64 controller, because we can do that. Well, I've got the gear for that. And maybe the problem goes away.
Well...
But it's just more convenient to do it on the Steam Deck.
Well, I mean, but you're creating a problem for yourself, because then when we do the video, we'll be in here with attached to your PC, not on a Steam Deck. What are you going to do then?
Well,
be adapted to the Steam Deck.
Well, I'm hoping I can just at least get my save file across.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. Otherwise, this whole process has been pointless.
Indeed, yeah. I think to get the X cup as well, I need to finish all the cups in expert difficulty at least, and that's where I'm hitting a wall at the moment. I hope to God I don't have to do it in master level, which unlocks once you've done expert level. I'm having a good time. F-Zero X is a great game.
Looking forward to seeing some of it.
I mean, I love the thing that it does, that F-Zero does this just probably better than anyone, because it's got 30 cars on track, right? That you don't have to win every race. You have to do well, but you don't have to win them all, because the AI doesn't always win them all either. The AI can come in different spots. The AI can make mistakes. I just straight up see people just fall off the track, of their own accord sometimes.
Nice.
Which is kind of fun. You're just driving along, and just your rival just makes an error, or you didn't even hit them yourself, and you just see them just casually flop off the track, and you're like, ha ha, this is good news. I like the fact that it specifically highlights your rival, so you know who's nearest to you on the table, so you can go beat them up. And just take them out of the race, and it's well, cool, they're not scoring any points this race, fabulous. Further adding to the fact that it's I don't need to win this, I just need to take out my rivals.
Right.
I love that. It's it's such a well thought through game. Anyway, my love for F-Zero knows no bounds. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah. Who needs new F-Zero? Just play the old ones.
Well, yeah.
Even the Switch 2 has got GX on the emulation or whatever, so just play that. or go further back, play X like Rob's do.
Yeah, X is good.
Yeah.
Did they put X on?
I don't remember. That's what I was about to say. Did they put
Is X on the Virtual Console? Probably not.
In 64 emulation. I feel like they might have done.
Yeah.
That seems like an obvious one to do.
I mean, I still don't have expansion pass for the Switch, so I don't know. But because I don't need it, because my emulation is probably better elsewhere.
Well, I mean, it's not a matter of needing it.
No.
I mean, if you're playing an emulated game on the Switch, it's generally because you want the other features of it.
Yeah,
Either being like the graphical improvements that they do allow, or the save states, basically.
Save states or playing online, and it's like, yeah. But then I get all that on the Steam Deck. It's really easy. And I get that authentic experience.
Yes, well, relatively speaking.
Weirdly, yeah, I probably get a more authentic experience on the Steam Deck than I do on a... Although I could run on PC and use my N64 controller, as I said before. More authentic. Or I could just get my N64 out. That's also
the box is right here.
Yeah, the N64's not in that box.
Well, the box is right here.
The box is literally right here. I think that's pretty much all I got. I've been doing that mostly. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get a video of that incoming at some point. But meantime, we've got other videos on our YouTube channel.
Indeed.
So you can check those out.
Finally finished Star Fox.
Yeah, watch our Let's Play of Star Fox Adventures. A gripping Star Fox game. Not in the traditional genre of Star Fox games.
It's gripping in the sense that you're holding a staff most of the time.
Yeah, you have to hold a staff. It's gripping for Fox McCloud anyway, let's say. So check that out. And and we have other just random videos popping up. I think we'll have one of Burnout coming out soon. Burnout 3.
Burnout 3, yeah.
So that's coming up. Look out for that. And then more to come. And we'll be back here with another podcast in 2 weeks' time. So we will catch you then. Bye.